You're listening to the Mindful Chapters, a sanctuary for heartfelt stories and gentle growth. If this chapter resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe to help our mindful community grow. Now, let's continue the journey together. The Soft Reprogram. A gentle path to becoming the you who's already waiting. By Lila Hart. Dedication. For you. The one who's been holding it all together. The one who's been trying so hard. The one who knows what you should do, but can't seem to do it. I see you. And I want you to know, you're not broken. You're not behind. You're not doing it wrong. Your future self is already waiting for you, not in some distant tomorrow, but right here, in the softness of this moment. This book is an invitation to meet her. Gently. One breath at a time. Opening. Before we begin. I see you. I see the exhaustion behind those morning coffees. I see how you're holding it all together while wondering if there's more to life than this constant hustle. I see you researching how to manifest, how to change, how to become the person you want to be, and then closing your laptop feeling more lost than when you started. I see you lying awake at night, knowing exactly what you need to do to feel better. Meditate, rest, say no, trust yourself, but somehow when morning comes, you're back in the same patterns. Knowing but not doing. Understanding but not becoming. Wanting but not receiving. Let me tell you something that changed everything for me. There was a day, 3 years ago, when I ended up in the hospital. Not because of an accident. Not because of an illness you could see on a scan. Because my body had been screaming at me for so long, and I'd been too busy achieving to listen. I was successful on paper. Dental school graduate. Corporate job in New York. Impressive resume. The kind of life that looked perfect in holiday cards. But inside, I was collapsing. My nervous system was fried. My mind was a hamster wheel of not enough. And my body, my poor exhausted body, finally forced me to stop. I remember lying in that hospital bed, for in my arm, watching the fluorescent lights flicker overhead. And all I could think was, I know what I'm supposed to do. I've read all the books. I've taken all the courses. So why can't I just do it? The doctor came in, ran tests. Everything came back normal. It's stress, he said gently. Your body needs rest. I nodded. Like I'd nodded at every therapist, every yoga teacher, every well-meaning friend who told me the same thing. Rest. Slow down. Take care of yourself. I knew it intellectually, but I didn't know how to become someone who actually did it. That gap, between knowing and becoming, haunted me for years. I'd read about neuroplasticity and think, yes, I can rewire my brain. Then I'd try to meditate and feel like a failure when my mind wandered. I'd learn about manifestation and think, yes, I can attract what I want. Then I'd do affirmations in the mirror and feel nothing. I'd understand logically that I was worthy, that I didn't need to earn my existence. But when someone complimented me, I'd deflect. When an opportunity came, I'd self-sabotage. When rest was available, I'd fill the space with productivity. My conscious mind knew the truth. But my subconscious mind, the part running 95% of my life, believed something entirely different. And that's when I discovered what I call the Soft Reprogram. The Soft Reprogram isn't about forcing yourself to change. It's not about adding more goals to your already overwhelming list. It's not about hustling harder to become someone better. It's about softening into the version of you who's already waiting. Because here's what I learned, lying in that hospital bed, and then in the year of deep healing that followed. You're not manifesting a new life. You're becoming the person who lives it. And that becoming, it doesn't happen in your thoughts. It happens in 3 places. 1. Your nervous system, which needs to feel safe enough to receive. 2. Your subconscious mind, which speaks the language of emotion, not logic. 3. Your daily actions, which become the evidence your subconscious believes. This is the Soft Reprogram. Soften the nervous system. Reprogram the subconscious through feeling. Repattern your identity through tiny, loving actions. Not through force. Through gentleness. This book is different from most transformation books you've read. This book is not a 47-step system that requires overhaul of your entire life. Or a manifestation manual that promises instant results. Or a spiritual bypass that tells you to just be positive. Or another thing to feel guilty about if you don't do it perfectly. This book is a gentle 3-part process you can begin today. Grounded in neuroscience, energy psychology, and real human experience. Written for the woman who's tired of trying so hard. An invitation to become, not to achieve. It's written for you, the high-achieving woman who's exhausted from proving herself worthy. The one who wants to manifest, but feels blocked. The one who knows she deserves rest, but can't seem to allow it. The one who's ready to shift from proving mode, hustling for worthiness, to receiving mode, allowing good because you already are worthy. Here's what you'll find in these pages. Part 1. Relax, the doorway in. We'll explore why your nervous system needs to soften before any real transformation can happen. You'll learn simple practices to move from survival mode into receiving mode, creating the space for your future self to emerge. Part 2. Reprogram. Emotion is the language of the subconscious. We'll dive into how your subconscious mind actually works, why affirmations alone don't stick, and how to use emotional frequency to reprogram the operating system running your life. Part 3. Repattern. Becoming the new you in tiny, loving steps. We'll bring it all into your daily life through micro-movements, actions so small you can't fail, but powerful enough to rewire your brain and prove to your subconscious, I'm becoming her. Each section includes practices you can do in 10 minutes or less. Because I know you're busy. I know you're tired. And I know that if transformation requires one more big effort, you'll close this book and go back to surviving. So instead, I'm inviting you to soften. To go slowly. To trust that small, consistent, loving actions compound into a completely different life. You can read this book straight through in one sitting. It's designed to be a quick read, about 45 to 60 minutes. Or you can read one section at a time, practicing before moving to the next. Or you can return to the practices again and again, as many times as you need. There's no right way to do this. Just your way. With gentleness. With patience. With the understanding that you're not broken. You're just programmed to believe you need to earn your worth through achievement. And we're going to gently, lovingly reprogram that belief. Together. Before we begin, I want to give you permission for something. Permission to not be perfect at this. You're going to forget the practices sometimes. You're going to fall back into old patterns. You're going to have days when the soft reprogram feels impossible, and the old hustling feels easier. That's okay. You're not doing it wrong. You're human. And your future self. She's not waiting for you to be perfect. She's just waiting for you to soften enough to let her in. So breathe with me for a moment. Put your hand on your heart. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. And know this. You're exactly where you need to be. Your becoming is already happening. And I'm so glad you're here. Let's begin. With love. Lila. Part 1. Relax. The doorway in. Your future self can't reach you if your nervous system is in survival mode. Chapter 1. Why you keep circling the same patterns. There was a Tuesday afternoon. I remember it so clearly, when I drove home from work and realized I'd seen nothing. Not the sunset painting the mesa pink and orange. Not the tree I pass every day, the one that's been slowly losing its leaves. Not even the stop sign at the corner of my street, the one I've stopped at 1,000 times. My body was driving. My hands knew when to turn the wheel. My foot knew when to press the brake. But I wasn't there. I was somewhere else entirely. Replaying a meeting, rehearsing a difficult conversation, mentally drafting an email, calculating when I'd have time to exercise, guilty that I hadn't called my mom, worried about the project deadline, wondering why I felt so empty when everything looked so good on paper. I pulled into my driveway, turned off the engine, and sat there in the sudden silence. And I thought, when did I stop being present in my own life? That's when I realized, my nervous system had been in survival mode for so long, I didn't even know what safety felt like anymore. If you've ever wondered why you keep circling the same patterns, why you know what you need to do but can't seem to do it, this is where we start. Not with more strategies. Not with more willpower. But with understanding what's actually happening in your body when you're stuck. Because here's what I learned, both through my own healing and through studying neuroscience and energy psychology. When your nervous system is in survival mode, you literally cannot see new possibilities. Let me say that again, because it's important. You cannot see new possibilities. Not because you're not smart enough. Not because you're not trying hard enough. But because your brain, in its beautiful attempt to keep you safe, narrows your perception to only what's familiar. Think about it like this. Imagine you're walking through the forest and you hear a rustling in the bushes. Your nervous system immediately activates. Danger? Threat. Do I need to run? In that moment, your brain isn't thinking about the beautiful bird songs or the way the sunlight filters through the trees. It's focused on one thing. Survival. Your pupils dilate to see threats more clearly. Your heart rate increases to prepare for action. Your digestion shuts down. You don't need to digest lunch if you're about to become lunch. And your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for creativity, problem-solving, and seeing new possibilities, goes offline. Because in survival mode, your brain doesn't care about manifesting your dreams or becoming your best self. It cares about keeping you alive. Now, here's what most people don't realize. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between a bear in the forest and a full inbox. Between a physical threat and an emotional one. Between a dangerous situation and a stressful job, a difficult relationship, a packed schedule, or the constant feeling that you're not doing enough. So if you've been living in a state of chronic stress, always rushing, always behind, always trying to catch up, always feeling like you're failing, your nervous system has been in survival mode. Not for a day. Not for a week. Maybe for years. And when you're in survival mode, you default to what's familiar. Even if what's familiar doesn't serve you. Even if what's familiar keeps you stuck. This is why you scroll your phone instead of meditating, even though you know meditation would help. Why you snap at your partner when you meant to be patient, even though you promised yourself you'd be different this time. Why you order takeout when you wanted to cook something healthy, even though you had a plan. Why you say yes when you meant to say no, even though you're already overwhelmed. Why you stay in the job that drains you, the relationship that dims you, the pattern that exhausts you, even though you know logically there's another way. It's not because you lack discipline. It's not because you're broken. It's because your nervous system is choosing survival over transformation. And survival always chooses the familiar path. Because the familiar path, even if it's painful, is known. And the known feels safer than the unknown. I see this pattern everywhere. In my own life, yes, but also in every woman I work with. The lawyer who can't stop working 70-hour weeks, even though she's dreaming of a simpler life. The entrepreneur who keeps self-sabotaging right before success, even though she says she wants to grow. The mother who gives endlessly to everyone else but can't seem to rest, even though her body is begging for it. They're all intelligent women. They all know what they need to do. But knowing isn't enough. Because the subconscious mind, the part that's running 95% of your life, doesn't speak the language of logic. It speaks the language of safety. And when you're in survival mode, the subconscious says, stay small. Stay familiar. Stay safe. Even if safe means miserable. Here's what this looks like in real time. You wake up with good intentions. Today I'm going to meditate. Today I'm going to eat well. Today I'm going to set that boundary. But then you check your email before you even get out of bed. And there's something stressful. Your nervous system activates. Threat. Problem. Must fix. Your cortisol spikes. Your heart rate increases. And suddenly, all those good intentions, gone. Because your brain just went into survival mode. And in survival mode, you don't have access to the part of you that can make conscious choices aligned with your future self. You only have access to the part of you that's been programmed to survive. So you reach for the phone again. Scroll mindlessly. Numb out. Rush through breakfast. Skip the meditation. Tell yourself you'll do it tomorrow. And the pattern continues. This is what I call stress blindness. When you're stressed, you're blind to possibility. Blind to new pathways. Blind to the opportunities right in front of you. Blind to the version of yourself who's waiting just on the other side of the familiar. Your brain literally filters out anything that doesn't match your current programming. And your current programming? It was written during moments of stress, survival, and self-protection. It was written when you learned. Love must be earned through achievement. Rest is lazy. Your worth is tied to your productivity. If you slow down, you'll fall behind. You must prove you're enough. These beliefs aren't conscious. You didn't sit down one day and decide to believe them. But somewhere along the way, maybe in childhood, maybe in your first job, maybe in a relationship, your nervous system learned. The world isn't safe unless I'm achieving, performing, proving. And now, even when you consciously want something different, your subconscious keeps running that old program. keeping you in the loop, keeping you stressed, keeping you safe in the only way it knows how, through the familiar. I want you to check in with your heart for a moment. Put this book down if you need to. Take a slow breath and ask yourself honestly, when was the last time I felt truly relaxed? Not fine, not managing, not keeping it together, but truly at ease, where your shoulders weren't tight, where your jaw wasn't clenched, where your mind wasn't spinning with the next thing on your list. If you're struggling to remember, you're not alone. Most of the women I work with can't remember either. Because they've been in survival mode for so long, stress feels normal. And calm feels dangerous. Like if they let their guard down, everything will fall apart. But here's the truth, and I need you to hear this. Your future self can't reach you if your nervous system is in survival mode. All the manifestation practices, all the affirmations, all the vision boards and goal setting and trying harder. None of it works if your nervous system is screaming, danger, threat. Stay small. Because transformation requires space. It requires openness. It requires your brain to have access to the prefrontal cortex, the part that can imagine, create, and see new possibilities. And that part, it only comes online when you feel safe, when your nervous system softens, when you give yourself permission to relax. So before we talk about reprogramming your subconscious, before we talk about embodying your future self, before we talk about becoming someone new, we need to talk about softening, about creating space, about returning to your body and letting your nervous system know it's safe to receive, it's safe to change, it's safe to become. This is the doorway in, not through force, through gentleness. Journal prompt. When I'm stressed, my go-to pattern is underscore. And underneath that pattern, what I'm really craving is underscore. Take a moment with this. You don't need to fix anything yet. Just notice. With compassion, with curiosity, with the understanding that every pattern you've developed has been trying to keep you safe. And now, we're going to gently teach your nervous system that there's another way. Chapter 2. The nervous system as your navigation system. Let me tell you about the day I learned my body was trying to save my life by keeping me small. I was sitting in my therapist's office, 3 months after the hospital visit, frustrated beyond words. I'm doing everything right, I said, voice tight with held-back tears. I'm meditating. I'm journaling. I'm reading all the books. So why do I still feel stuck? She looked at me with those calm, knowing eyes and said something that changed everything. Lila, your conscious mind wants to change, but your nervous system still thinks you're in danger. And as long as your body believes it's not safe, it will keep you in the patterns that feel familiar, even if those patterns are making you miserable. I sat with that for a long moment. So, I'm fighting against my own body. No, she said gently. Your body is fighting for you. It's trying to keep you safe in the only way it knows how. We just need to teach it that change is safe too. That conversation opened something in me, because suddenly, all the self-sabotage made sense. All the times I'd been on the verge of something beautiful, a new opportunity, a deep connection, a moment of real rest, and then pulled back at the last second. My conscious mind was saying, yes, This is what I want. But my nervous system was screaming, unknown, unfamiliar, danger. And my nervous system, quite literally, was running the show. Here's what I wish someone had told me years ago. Your nervous system is your navigation system. It's the antenna broadcasting your frequency out into the world. And whatever frequency you're broadcasting, that's what you receive back. If your nervous system is in survival mode, tight, tense, stressed, scanning for threats, you're broadcasting the frequency of, I'm not safe. I need to protect myself. The world is dangerous. And the world responds with experiences that match that frequency. More stress, more struggle, more evidence that you need to keep hustling to stay afloat. But when your nervous system is in what I call receiving mode, calm, open, regulated, you're broadcasting a completely different frequency. I'm safe. I'm worthy. I trust life to support me. And suddenly, the world responds differently. Opportunities appear. Synchronicities multiply. Things feel easier. Not because you're doing more, but because you're being different. Let me explain the science of this in a way that actually makes sense. Your nervous system has two primary modes. 1. Sympathetic nervous system, survival mode. This is your fight, flight, or freeze response. It's designed for short-term stress, like running from that bear in the forest. When it's activated, your heart rate increases. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your muscles tense. Your digestion shuts down. Stress hormones flood your system. Your prefrontal cortex, logical, creative brain, goes offline. Your amygdala, fear center, takes over. This mode is supposed to be temporary, but for most of us, it's become the default. We're living in chronic sympathetic activation, constantly on alert, constantly braced for the next thing, constantly trying to outrun the feeling of not enough. 2. Parasympathetic nervous system, receiving mode. This is your rest, digest, and restore response. It's where healing happens, where creativity flows, where you can actually receive the good you're trying to manifest. When it's activated, your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, your muscles relax, your digestion works properly, stress hormones decrease, your prefrontal cortex comes back online, you can access intuition, creativity, and new possibilities. This is the state where transformation happens, not because you're forcing it, but because you're open to it. Think of it this way. Sympathetic, survival mode, equals proving mode. This is where you're hustling to earn your worthiness, trying to outrun the fear that you're not enough, achieving, performing, producing, believing that if you just do more, you'll finally be worthy of rest, love, success. Your nervous system is tight, your frequency is contracted, and you're operating from scarcity. I don't have enough. I'm not enough. I need to earn it. In this mode, you're constantly pushing energy out into the world. But here's the thing about pushing. You can't receive when your fists are clenched. Parasympathetic, receiving mode, equals receiving mode. This is where you allow good things because you know you're already worthy. You're not trying to earn your existence. You're not hustling to prove your value. You're simply being, and trusting that being is enough. Your nervous system is calm, your frequency is expansive, and you're operating from wholeness. I am enough. I have enough. Good things are safe to receive. In this mode you have open hands. You're not chasing. You're allowing. And what you're meant to receive, it finds you. I know this might sound abstract, so let me make it concrete. Here's what these two modes look like in real life. Proving mode, sympathetic. A checking email first thing in the morning, before you've even said good morning to yourself. A saying yes when you want to say no, because disappointing others feels dangerous. A working through lunch, because rest feels like falling behind. A scrolling your phone at night, because slowing down means feeling what you've been avoiding. A over-explaining yourself, because being misunderstood feels like rejection. A apologizing for existing, because you've learned love must be earned. Receiving mode, parasympathetic. A taking 3 deep breaths before getting out of bed, greeting yourself first. A saying no with love, because honoring your limits is self-trust. A pausing to eat mindfully, because nourishment matters. A sitting in silence at night, because you can be with yourself. A stating your truth simply, because you trust you're understood. Existing without apology, because you know you're inherently worthy. See the difference? One is tight, contracted, effortful. The other is soft, open, trusting. Now, I want to be clear about something. The sympathetic nervous system isn't bad. You need it. It's saved your life more times than you know. The problem isn't that you have a stress response. The problem is that it's been activated for so long, your body has forgotten what safety feels like. Your nervous system is like a smoke alarm that's been going off for years. And you've gotten so used to the noise, you don't even hear it anymore. But it's still going off. Still flooding your system with stress hormones. Still keeping you in survival mode. Still blocking you from receiving the very things you're working so hard to manifest. Here's the part that broke my heart when I finally understood it. Your body is holding on to old programming because it's trying to protect you. Maybe when you were young, you learned that love was conditional. That you had to be good, be perfect, be productive to be worthy of affection. So your nervous system learned, safety equals achievement. If I stop achieving, I'll lose love. Or maybe you experienced loss, rejection, or disappointment. And your nervous system learned, hope is dangerous. If I don't expect good things, I won't be hurt when they don't come. Or maybe you grew up in chaos, instability, or unpredictability. And your nervous system learned, control equals safety. If I can control everything, nothing bad will happen. These weren't conscious choices. Your nervous system was just doing its job, learning from your environment and creating strategies to keep you safe. And those strategies, they worked. They got you here. They kept you alive. But now they're keeping you small. The beautiful thing, and this is where hope lives, is that your nervous system can learn new patterns. It's not fixed. It's not permanent. It's actually incredibly adaptable. This is called neuroplasticity. Your brain can literally rewire itself when you give it new information, new experiences, new evidence that a different way is safe. And the bridge between survival mode and receiving mode? It's your breath. Your breath is the only part of your autonomic nervous system that you can consciously control. When you're stressed, your breathing is shallow and quick, sympathetic activation. When you're calm, your breathing is slow and deep, parasympathetic activation. And here's the powerful part. You can use your breath to shift your nervous system from survival to receiving, consciously, intentionally, in less than 3 minutes. I remember the first time I truly understood this. I was at the dentist, ironic, I know, given that I went to dental school. I was in the chair, and the sound of the drill triggered something in me. My heart started racing. My breath got shallow. My hands gripped the armrests. I was having a panic attack. And then I remembered, my breath is the bridge. So I closed my eyes. And I breathed. Slowly in through my nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly out through my mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again. And again. And within 2 minutes, my heart rate slowed. My hands unclenched. My body softened. The panic passed. Not because the situation changed, but because I gave my nervous system a different signal. You're safe. We're okay. You can relax. This is the work of part 1, beautiful soul. Not to fix you. Not to override your body's wisdom. But to gently, lovingly, teach your nervous system. It's safe to soften. It's safe to receive. It's safe to become. Because until your body believes that, all the manifestation practices in the world won't work. All the affirmations will feel hollow. All the goal setting will lead to self-sabotage. Your nervous system will keep broadcasting, danger, stay small, survive, and the universe will respond accordingly. But when you soften, when you regulate, when you shift from proving mode to receiving mode, everything changes. Not because you're doing more, but because you're being open. The key teaching I want you to hold. Your nervous system is not your enemy. It's your ally. It's been trying to keep you safe in the only way it knows how. And now, we're going to teach it a new way. Through breath. Through presence. Through the radical act of softening. This is the doorway in. Will you walk through it with me? Chapter 3. Coming home to your body. 4 years, I lived from the neck up. My body was just the thing that carried my brain around. I fed it when I remembered. Pushed it when I needed productivity. Ignored it when it whispered for rest. I was so disconnected from my body that I didn't even realize how much pain I was in until the day it refused to carry me anymore. That day in the hospital, when the doctor said, "It's stress," I remember thinking, "But I don't feel stressed." And that was the problem. I didn't feel anything. I'd spent so many years overriding my body's signals, pushing through fatigue, ignoring hunger, numbing discomfort, that I'd lost the ability to hear what it was trying to tell me. My body had been whispering for years. Then it started speaking. Then it started shouting. And finally, it forced me to listen by shutting down completely. This is what happens when we live disconnected from our bodies. We lose access to our most reliable source of wisdom. Because here's what I've learned through my own healing and through years of studying somatic psychology. Your body is not a problem to solve. It's a messenger trying to guide you home. Every sensation, every tension, every whisper of discomfort, it's information. Not something to fix or override or numb, but something to listen to. Think about it. When you ignore your body's hunger signals, what happens? You end up ravenous, making choices from depletion instead of nourishment. When you ignore your body's fatigue signals, what happens? You burn out, and rest becomes something forced upon you instead of something you choose. When you ignore your body's no, what happens? You say yes to things that drain you, and resentment builds in the places where boundaries should be. Your body has been trying to guide you all along. But somewhere, you learned that your body couldn't be trusted. That its needs were inconvenient. That you had to push through, power through, get over it. For me, that lesson came early. My father was an engineer. Logical, disciplined, results-driven. I watched him work long hours, skip meals, pride himself on not needing much sleep. The message was clear. Your body's needs are weaknesses. Strong people override them. My mother, on the other hand, was a yoga teacher. Intuitive, feeling-based, deeply connected to her body. But even she would sometimes say, mind over matter, as if the mind should always win. So I learned to live in my head. To think my way through life. To treat my body like an employee that should just do what I tell it to do without complaint. And for a while, that worked. I excelled in school because I could push through exhaustion. I succeeded in my career because I could ignore my limits. I looked productive, disciplined, together. But inside I was fragmenting. The breaking point came on a random Tuesday. I was in a meeting, and suddenly my heart started racing. Not because anything stressful was happening. Just racing. My hands went numb. My vision narrowed. I couldn't breathe deeply enough. I excused myself, locked myself in the bathroom, and sat on the cold tile floor, trying to remember how to breathe. What is happening to me? Am I dying? That was my first panic attack. But it wasn't the last. They started happening more frequently, unpredictably, and no amount of logic could stop them. Because panic attacks aren't logical. They're your body's way of saying, you haven't been listening. So I'm going to make you listen. That's when I started therapy. And that's when I first heard the phrase, come back to your body. I remember thinking, what does that even mean? I'm always in my body. Where else would I be? But my therapist, with infinite patience, helped me understand. You're in your body. But you're not with your body. There's a difference. Being in your body means you're physically present. Being with your body means you're listening, witnessing, honoring what it's trying to tell you. And I hadn't been with my body in years. So we started simply. Can you feel your feet on the floor? She'd ask. I'd look down. My feet were there. Obviously. No, can you feel them? The weight. The pressure. The connection to the ground. I tried. And it was hard. I'd spent so many years in my head that sensation felt far away, muffled, like I was trying to hear something through a thick wall. But slowly, practice by practice, breath by breath, I started to come back. To feel my feet on the floor. To notice the rise and fall of my chest. To sense the tension in my shoulders, the tightness in my jaw, the holding in my belly. And once I could feel it, I could finally hear what my body had been trying to tell me all along. I'm tired. I'm scared. I'm overwhelmed. I need you to slow down. I need you to listen. I need you to care for me the way you care for everyone else. This is what I call body listening. And it's different from what most people think of as body awareness. Body awareness is noticing, oh, my shoulder hurts. Body listening is asking, what is my shoulder trying to tell me? Body awareness is observing, I'm exhausted. Body listening is inquiring, what do I need right now to honor this exhaustion? Do you feel the difference? One is observation. The other is relationship. When you start listening to your body, you might be surprised by what you hear. Not because your body is dramatic or demanding, but because you've been ignoring its whispers for so long, the messages have piled up. You might realize, I've been pushing through hunger because I don't believe I deserve to pause for nourishment. I've been clenching my jaw because I don't feel safe speaking my truth. I've been holding my breath because I'm afraid to fully feel what's here. I've been tensing my shoulders because I've been carrying everyone else's needs and forgetting my own. Your body holds your stories. Your body holds your patterns. Your body holds the programming that your conscious mind doesn't even know is running. And when you listen, really listen, your body will show you exactly what needs to soften, what needs to be released, what needs to be honored. I know what you might be thinking. But Lila, I can't just listen to my body all the time. I have responsibilities. I have deadlines. I can't just stop everything and rest every time I'm tired. I hear you. And I'm not asking you to quit your job or abandon your responsibilities. I'm asking you to come back into relationship with your body. To stop treating it like an inconvenience. To start treating it like the wise, loyal friend it is. Here's what body listening actually looks like in real life. You're in the middle of a busy workday, and you notice your shoulders are up near your ears. Old pattern. Ignore it. Push through. You'll deal with it later. Body listening. Pause for 30 seconds. Roll your shoulders back. Take 3 deep breaths. Ask, what do you need right now? Maybe the answer is, a 2-minute walk. Maybe it's water. Maybe it's just acknowledgement that this is hard. You honor it in whatever small way you can. That's body listening. You're about to say yes to something, and your stomach tightens. Old pattern. Override the signal. You should say yes. It's the right thing to do. Body listening. Pause. Notice the tightness. Ask, is this a yes or a no? Trust the first answer, the one from your body, not the one from your socialized brain. Maybe you still say yes. But now you're aware. You're not overriding yourself unconsciously. That's body listening. You're lying in bed, and your mind is racing about tomorrow's to-do list. Old pattern. Scroll your phone to distract yourself. Push down the anxiety. Force yourself to sleep. Body listening. Place your hand on your heart. Feel the rhythm of your heartbeat. Ask, what are you worried about? What do you need to feel safe right now? Maybe the answer is, write down 3 things I'm grateful for. Maybe it's, remember I've gotten through hard days before. You offer yourself what you need. That's body listening. Do you see? This isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about shifting from using your body to being with your body. From overriding to listening. From fixing to honoring. When I first started practicing body listening, I was shocked by how much my body had to say, and how gentle its requests actually were. I thought if I really listened, my body would demand that I quit my job, sleep 12 hours a day, never push myself again. But that's not what happened. Instead, my body said, can we take 5 minutes to breathe before starting the day? Can we eat sitting down instead of standing at the counter? Can we go to bed 30 minutes earlier? Can we say no to that event we don't actually want to attend? Small things. Gentle things. Things I could actually do. And the more I listened, the more my body trusted me. The anxiety lessened. The panic attacks stopped. The exhaustion started to lift. Not because I overhauled my entire life overnight, but because my body finally felt heard. Here's what I wish someone had told me years ago. Your body is your home. Not something you visit occasionally. Not something you tolerate or manage or fix. But the place where you actually live. And just like any home, it needs care. It needs attention. It needs you to notice when something's out of balance and respond with love instead of criticism. When you ignore a leaky faucet in your house, it gets worse. When you ignore the whispers in your body, they become shouts. But when you listen, when you respond with gentleness, your body softens. Your nervous system relaxes. And suddenly, you have access to wisdom you didn't even know was there. This is why coming home to your body is essential for the Soft Reprogram. You cannot reprogram what you cannot feel. You cannot shift your frequency if you're disconnected from the very instrument broadcasting that frequency. Your body is not separate from your manifestation practice. Your body is the practice. When you soften into your body, you soften into receiving mode. When you listen to your body, you access your intuition, which is your soul's GPS. When you honor your body, you tell your subconscious, I am worthy of care. I am worthy of rest. I am worthy of gentleness. And that becomes the new program. So before we move into the practice at the end of this section, I want to offer you one simple shift. Start treating your body like someone you love. Not someone you're disappointed in. Not someone who needs to be fixed or improved or perfected. But someone you genuinely love. Would you tell someone you love to push through exhaustion without rest? Would you ignore them when they said they were in pain? Would you criticize them for having needs? No. You'd listen. You'd care. You'd respond with tenderness. Your body deserves the same. Right now, wherever you are, I want you to put your hand on your heart. Feel the warmth of your palm against your chest. Feel the steady rhythm of your heartbeat, that faithful drumbeat that's been with you since before you were born. And say, out loud or silently, I'm sorry I haven't been listening. I'm here now. I'm with you. Thank you for carrying me. Thank you for trying to guide me home. That's it. That's the beginning of coming home. Not through some grand gesture, but through presence, through acknowledgement, through love. Your body has been waiting for you, not judging you. Not resenting you, just waiting, with infinite patience, for you to remember. You are not separate from your body. You are your body. And it's time to come home. Chapter 4. Practice, the softening pause. We've talked about why your nervous system needs to relax before transformation can happen. We've explored how your body has been trying to guide you all along. And now, we're going to practice. This is the simplest practice I'll offer you, and perhaps the most powerful. It takes 3 minutes. And it creates the foundation for everything else. I call it the softening pause. Before I walk you through it, I want to address something. You might feel resistance to this practice. Your mind might say, I don't have time for this. Or, this seems too simple to actually work. Or, I should be doing something more productive. If those thoughts arise, notice them. Because those thoughts, they're the old programming. The part of you that believes rest is earned, that softening is weakness, that you must always be doing more to be worthy. This practice is the gentle interruption of that pattern. It's not about achieving a certain state. It's not about doing it perfectly. It's simply about coming home to yourself. For 3 minutes. That's it. You can do this practice anytime. First thing in the morning, before checking your phone. Or in the middle of a stressful workday, when you notice tension rising. Before a difficult conversation, to ground yourself. At night, to shift from doing mode into being mode. At any time you feel disconnected, overwhelmed, or caught in old patterns. I recommend doing it at least once a day for the next 30 days. Not because you have to, but because this small, consistent practice will teach your nervous system. It's safe to soften. It's safe to pause. It's safe to just be. And that teaching, it changes everything. The softening pause. A 3-minute practice. Find a comfortable place to sit or stand. You don't need anything special. No candles, no music, no perfect environment. Just you. Right here. Right now. Let's begin. Minute 1. Arrive. Close your eyes, or if that feels uncomfortable, soften your gaze toward the floor. Place one hand on your heart. Place the other hand on your belly. Feel the warmth of your palms against your body. Now, take a deep breath in through your nose, slowly, gently, for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top for a moment. Then exhale through your mouth, even slower, for a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let the exhale be a release, a softening, a permission to let go. Do this 2 more times. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And one more time. In 1, 2, 3, 4. Out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, with your hands still on your heart and belly, say to yourself, silently or aloud, I am here. I am breathing. I am alive. Notice, you don't have to do anything to earn this moment. You are here. And that is enough. Minute 2. Scan. Keeping your hands where they are, or letting them rest gently in your lap, begin to scan your body. Starting at the crown of your head, slowly move your awareness down through your body. Your forehead. Is there tension here? Your jaw. Are you clenching? Your neck and shoulders. Are they tight? Your chest. Is your breath shallow? Your belly. Are you holding here? Your hips. Are they gripping? Your legs. Are they restless or still? Your feet. Can you feel them on the ground? As you scan, you don't need to fix anything. You're not trying to relax the tension. You're simply noticing, witnessing, acknowledging what's here. If you find a place that's holding tension, breathe into it. Imagine your breath flowing into that space, like a warm wave of kindness, and whisper internally, I see you. I'm listening. You don't have to hold on so tight. Let your body know it's safe to soften, even just a little, even just for this moment. Minute 3. Soften. Now, bring your awareness back to your breath. Notice the natural rhythm, in and out, like waves on a shore. With each exhale, imagine you're releasing one layer of holding, one layer of tension, one layer of the need to control, to achieve, to prove. Exhale. Soften your shoulders. Let them drop an inch. Exhale. Soften your jaw. Let your teeth part slightly. Exhale. Soften your belly. Let it be round, soft, unguarded. Exhale. Soften your mind. Let the to-do list fade for just this moment. And as you breathe, say to yourself, I give my body permission to relax. I am safe in this moment. I am allowed to soften. Take one more deep breath, in through your nose, filling your lungs completely. Hold for a moment. Then release it fully, with a sigh if that feels right. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. After the practice, what to notice? You might feel a sense of calm you haven't felt in a while. A emotion rising, sadness, grief, relief. This is okay, you're thawing. A restlessness or discomfort. Your nervous system is learning a new pattern. A nothing at all. And that's okay too, trust the process. There's no right way to feel after this practice. The goal isn't to achieve a certain state. The goal is simply to show up. To give yourself 3 minutes of presence. To tell your nervous system, I'm listening. I'm here. You matter. Journal prompt. After completing the softening pause, take a moment to write. After this practice, I notice Maybe you notice your breath is deeper. Maybe you notice your shoulders aren't touching your ears anymore. Maybe you notice you're feeling something you've been avoiding. Just write what's true, without judgment. Then, if you'd like, complete this sentence. My body wants me to know Listen for the answer. It might be, I'm tired. I need more of this. I've been waiting for you to slow down. Thank you for listening. Write whatever comes. This is your body's wisdom. Making it a practice. I encourage you to do the softening pause once a day for the next 30 days. Put a reminder in your phone. Tie it to an existing habit, after your morning coffee, before bed, during your lunch break. Track it on a calendar. Put an X for each day you complete it. Not to be rigid, but to build the evidence for your subconscious. I am someone who pauses. I am someone who softens. I am someone who listens to my body. And that evidence, that becomes your new program. A gentle reminder. This practice isn't about perfection. Some days, you'll do it and feel like you're doing it wrong. Some days, your mind will wander the entire 3 minutes. Some days, you'll forget to do it altogether. That's okay. You're not failing. You're learning. Your nervous system has been in survival mode for years, maybe decades. It's going to take time to teach it that softening is safe. So be patient with yourself. Be gentle. And remember, even one intentional breath is a victory. Even 30 seconds of body listening is a revolution. You're not trying to overhaul your entire nervous system overnight. You're simply leaving breadcrumbs. Small, loving moments that say to your body, I'm here. I'm listening. You're safe with me. This is the doorway in, beautiful soul. 3 minutes. One breath at a time. Will you step through with me? Part 1 closing. Integration. Let's take a moment to come back together. To gather what we've explored. To honor what you've learned. Here's what we've discovered in Part 1. Your nervous system is the foundation of transformation. When you're in survival mode, stressed, tense, braced for the next thing, your brain literally cannot see new possibilities. You default to familiar patterns, even when those patterns no longer serve you. Your nervous system is your navigation system. It's the antenna broadcasting your frequency. When you're in proving mode, sympathetic activation, you're hustling to earn worthiness. When you're in receiving mode, parasympathetic activation, you're allowing good because you know you're already worthy. Your body is not a problem to solve. It's a messenger. It's been trying to guide you home all along. Through tension, through fatigue, through the whisper of no when you want to say yes. Body listening is the practice of coming back into relationship with the wisest part of you. Softening is not weakness. It's the doorway in. Before you can reprogram your subconscious or repattern your daily actions, you need space. The softening pause creates that space. 3 minutes. One breath at a time. Teaching your nervous system. It's safe to soften. I know this might feel different from what you expected. Maybe you thought this book would give you a manifestation formula or a step-by-step system to achieve your goals. And we will get to the practices that shift your frequency and repattern your identity. But I needed you to understand this first. You cannot reprogram what you cannot relax. All the affirmations, all the visualizations, all the action plans in the world. They won't work if your nervous system is screaming, danger, stay small, survive. So we started here. With softening. With coming home to your body. With teaching your nervous system that change is safe, that rest is productive, that you don't have to earn your existence through achievement. And here's what I want you to know. Even if you did nothing else but practice the softening pause for the next 30 days, your life would change. Not because you manifested something external, but because you changed. Your frequency shifted. Your nervous system regulated. Your body remembered it's safe. And from that foundation, everything else becomes possible. So before we move into part 2, where we'll explore how to reprogram your subconscious mind through emotional frequency, I want to invite you to pause. Right now. Put your hand on your heart. Take 3 slow breaths. And say to yourself, I am softening into my becoming. Feel that. Not as words, but as truth. You are softening. You are opening. You are creating space for the version of you who's been waiting. And now, you're ready for the next layer. How to speak the language your subconscious actually understands. How to shift from wanting to embodying. How to feel your future now, and collapse time through the power of emotion. This is where the deep reprogramming happens. Not through force. Through feeling. Let's continue. Affirmation for part 1. I am softening. My nervous system is learning it's safe to receive. I am coming home to my body, and my body is coming home to me. Part 2. Reprogram. Emotion is the language of the subconscious. You're not manifesting a goal. You're manifesting the emotional climate where that goal can find you. Chapter 5. Why knowing isn't enough. I knew I wanted to be a writer. I had notebooks full of ideas. observations about life, reflections on energy and healing, stories I wanted to tell. I read all the books about writing. I took online courses. I followed writers I admired on social media. I knew what I needed to do. Just start writing. But for 3 years, I didn't write a single thing. I'd sit down at my laptop with the best intentions. I'd open a blank document. And then, nothing. I'd check my email instead. Scroll Instagram. Suddenly remember I needed to do laundry. And every night, I'd go to bed thinking, tomorrow I'll write. But tomorrow never came. I was so frustrated with myself. What's wrong with me? Why can't I just do the thing I say I want to do? I knew I wanted to write. I knew how to write. I'd been writing papers and journals for years. I knew all the advice. Just write badly. Just start. Don't overthink it. But knowing wasn't enough. It wasn't until I learned about the subconscious mind that everything finally made sense. Here's what I discovered. Your conscious mind is only running about 5% of your life. That's the part of you that sets goals, makes plans, reads self-help books, and says, I want to be a writer. Your subconscious mind is running the other 95%. And my subconscious mind, it believed something entirely different. It believed, writing is vulnerable. If you write, people will see the real you. And if they see the real you, they might reject you. It's safer to stay quiet. I didn't consciously know I believed this. But my subconscious knew. And my subconscious was running the show. So every time I sat down to write, my subconscious would trigger anxiety, resistance, distraction, anything to keep me from doing the thing that felt dangerous. Not because it was trying to sabotage me, but because it was trying to protect me. This is the gap between knowing and doing, between understanding and becoming. And it's not a willpower problem. It's a programming problem. Your conscious mind says one thing. Your subconscious believes another. And the subconscious always wins. Let me explain how this works. Your conscious mind is like the captain of a ship, standing on deck, giving orders. We're going to write a book. We're going to start a business. We're going to find love. We're going to rest more. The captain is clear, confident, enthusiastic. But below deck, in the engine room, is your subconscious mind. And the subconscious is the one actually steering the ship. It's running on autopilot, following programs that were installed years ago, maybe decades ago. Programs like, you have to be perfect to be loved. Rest is lazy. Success means struggle. If you want something, it means you don't have it, so don't get your hopes up. The world isn't safe unless you're in control. The captain can shout all the orders they want. But if the engine room is following a different program, the ship isn't going anywhere new. It's just going to keep circling the same patterns. This is why. You know you deserve love, but you keep choosing people who are emotionally unavailable. You know you want financial abundance, but you sabotage opportunities or overspend when money comes in. You know you need rest, but you feel guilty every time you try to slow down. You know you're capable, but you hold back from sharing your gifts with the world. It's not because you're broken. It's not because you lack discipline or motivation. It's because your subconscious is following an old program. And that program was written during moments of stress, survival, and self-protection. Here's how subconscious programming actually works. When you're young, before age 7 mostly, your brain is in what's called a theta brainwave state. It's highly suggestible, like a sponge, absorbing everything around you. You're not analyzing or questioning what you observe. You're just downloading. This is how the world works. This is what it means to be safe. This is what it means to be loved. So you watch your parents. If they're stressed and overworking, you learn, this is what adults do. You must work hard to survive. If they're critical of themselves, you learn, you must be perfect to be worthy. If they withhold affection until you achieve something, you learn, love is conditional. You must earn it. You experience situations. If you shared your true feelings and got dismissed, you learned, it's not safe to be seen. If you tried something new and failed publicly, you learned, taking risks leads to humiliation. If you asked for what you needed and got rejected, you learned, your needs are a burden. These experiences become neural pathways. And those neural pathways become your subconscious programming. The autopilot running below deck. Now, here's the important part. Your subconscious doesn't speak English. It doesn't respond to logic, reasoning, or conscious intention. It speaks 3 languages. 1. Emotion, how something feels. 2. Sensation, what the body experiences. 3. Repetition, what you do consistently over time. This is why affirmations alone don't work. You can stand in front of a mirror and say, I am confident, 100 times. But if your body is tight with anxiety while you're saying it, if you don't feel confident, your subconscious registers, this isn't true. This doesn't match our experience. Reject this information. The words bounce off. Nothing changes. But here's the beautiful part. Your subconscious can be reprogrammed. Neural pathways are not fixed. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity, the ability to form new connections, new patterns, new programs. This is happening all the time, actually. Every time you think a thought, feel an emotion, or take an action, you're either reinforcing an old pathway or creating a new one. The question is, are you doing it consciously or unconsciously? Most people are unconsciously reinforcing the old patterns. They wake up stressed, so they think stressful thoughts, which creates stressful emotions, which leads to stressful actions, which creates stressful results, which confirms the original belief, life is stressful. The loop continues. But when you understand how the subconscious works, you can intervene. You can create new pathways. You can reprogram. I want to share the moment this became real for me. I was working with my therapist, and she asked me to do something that felt ridiculous at the time. I want you to imagine yourself as a writer, she said. Not someday. Right now. What does that feel like? I closed my eyes, skeptical. I don't know, I said. I'm not a writer yet. Okay, she said gently. But if you were, right now, in this moment, what would that feel like in your body? I tried. I imagined sitting at my desk, words flowing easily, feeling proud of what I'd created. And something shifted. My chest expanded slightly. My shoulders dropped. A small smile appeared. There, she said. Did you feel that? That's the frequency of being a writer. Your subconscious just registered it as real. I opened my eyes, confused. But I didn't actually write anything. Not yet, she smiled. But your subconscious doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one, especially when you feel it in your body. You just gave your subconscious new information. This is what it feels like to be a writer. Do that enough times, and your subconscious will start guiding you toward actions that match that feeling. That was the beginning of everything changing. I started practicing feeling like a writer before I'd written anything. Not forcing it. Not pretending. Just closing my eyes and asking, what would it feel like if I already were the person I'm trying to become? And I'd let that feeling rise in my body. Sometimes it was just a tiny spark. Sometimes it was a full body knowing. But I practiced it. Daily. For about 2 weeks. And then one morning, I woke up and the first thought I had was, I want to write. Not, I should write. Not, I need to write. But, I want to write. It felt natural. Effortless. Like of course that's what I would do. So I did. I wrote for 20 minutes. And the next day, I did it again. And again. Within a month, I had written more than I'd written in the previous 3 years combined. Not because I developed more willpower, but because my subconscious had been reprogrammed. It now believed, I am a writer. And once it believed that, the actions followed naturally. This is the power of working with your subconscious instead of against it. When you try to change through willpower alone, you're using your 5% conscious mind to override your 95% subconscious mind. That's exhausting. And it doesn't last. But when you reprogram your subconscious, when you speak its language, emotion, sensation, repetition, change becomes natural. It becomes who you are, not what you're trying to do. So here's the key teaching I want you to hold. Your subconscious believes what you feel, not what you think. If you think, I want abundance, but feel scarcity in your body, tension, anxiety, lack, your subconscious registers scarcity. If you think, I'm worthy of love, but feel unworthy, small, defensive, apologetic, your subconscious registers unworthiness. If you think, I deserve rest, but feel guilty when you slow down, your subconscious registers, rest is dangerous. The feeling is the program. And if you want to install a new program, you have to change the feeling. Not through force. Through practice. Through repetition. Through giving your subconscious new emotional evidence that says, this is who I am now. In the chapters ahead, we're going to explore exactly how to do this. How to identify the emotional frequency of your future self. How to feel it in your body before it manifests externally. How to work with your brain's filtering system to start seeing the opportunities that have been here all along. How to distinguish between goals that are truly yours and goals you've inherited from others. Because here's the truth. You're not broken. You're not stuck. You're just running an old program. And programs can be updated. Gently. Lovingly. One feeling at a time. Journal prompt. A goal I've been trying to achieve through willpower alone. Understand the subconscious belief that might be blocking me. Understand. Be honest. Be gentle. You're not trying to judge yourself. You're just becoming aware. Because awareness is always the first step toward change. Chapter 6. The emotional frequency of your future self. Let me ask you something. What does your dream life feel like? Not look like. Not sound like when you describe it to others. But feel like. In your body. Right now. Most people can't answer this question. They can tell me what they want. I want a thriving business. I want a loving relationship. I want financial freedom. I want to feel confident in my body. But when I ask, what would that feel like? They pause. Because we're so trained to think about goals in terms of outcomes, achievements, external markers. We forget that what we're actually seeking is a feeling. Here's what changed everything for me. You're not manifesting a thing. You're manifesting a feeling that attracts the thing. Let me say that again because it's important. You're not trying to manifest the business, the relationship, the money, the confidence. You're trying to manifest the feeling of having those things. Freedom, safety, worthiness, belonging, peace, love. And here's the really powerful part. You don't have to wait to have the thing to feel the feeling. You can practice feeling it now. And when you do, when you genuinely embody that emotional frequency, your external reality begins to shift to match it. Not through magic. Through science. Let me explain what I mean by frequency. In energy psychology and quantum physics, everything is energy. Your thoughts are energy. Your emotions are energy. Your body is energy. Even objects that seem solid, like the chair you're sitting on, are energy vibrating at a specific frequency. And emotions. They're frequencies too. Each emotion has a measurable electromagnetic signature. Fear vibrates at a low frequency, contracted, dense, heavy. Shame, guilt, grief, also low frequencies. But gratitude, love, joy, peace. These vibrate at high frequencies, expansive, light, open. And here's where it gets interesting. Your emotional frequency broadcasts a signal. Like a radio station. And the universe or life or quantum field, whatever you want to call it, responds by sending you experiences that match your signal. If you're broadcasting fear, low frequency, you attract more experiences that confirm the world is scary. If you're broadcasting scarcity, low frequency, you attract more experiences that confirm there's not enough. But if you're broadcasting gratitude, high frequency, you attract more experiences that confirm, I am abundant. If you're broadcasting worthiness, high frequency, you attract more experiences that confirm, I am enough. This isn't mystical thinking. This is how your brain works. Your brain has something called the reticular activating system, RAS. We'll talk more about this in the next chapter. But essentially, it's a filter. Your brain receives about 2 million bits of information per second. But you can only consciously process about 126 bits. So your RAS filters out 99.99% of reality and shows you only what matches your current beliefs and emotional state. If your emotional frequency is fear, your RAS filters for threats, problems, reasons to stay afraid. If your emotional frequency is worthiness, your RAS filters for opportunities, support, reasons to feel worthy. You're literally living in different realities based on your frequency. Now, here's the part that most people get wrong about manifestation. They try to manifest from a place of wanting. I want the business. I want the relationship. I want the money. But wanting is a frequency of lack. It broadcasts, I don't have this yet. I'm incomplete without it. And your subconscious, along with your RAS, responds to that frequency by showing you more evidence of not having it. You see all the obstacles, all the reasons it's not working, all the ways you're behind, because that matches your frequency. But when you shift from wanting to embodying, everything changes. Embodying means, I feel this now, not someday, now, in my body, as if it's already true. This is what quantum physicists call collapsing the wave function. In the quantum field, all possibilities exist simultaneously. The business that succeeds and the business that fails. The relationship that works and the relationship that doesn't. The version of you who feels confident and the version who feels insecure. They're all there, as potential. And the moment you observe one, the moment you focus your attention and emotion on it, that potential collapses into reality. I know this might sound abstract, so let me make it concrete. When I was healing from burnout, I knew I wanted to feel at peace. But I'd spent so many years in stress that I didn't even know what peace felt like anymore. So my therapist guided me through a simple exercise. Think of a time, any time in your life, when you felt truly at peace, even for a moment. I thought back, way back, to a childhood memory, sitting on my mom's yoga studio floor, sunlight streaming through the windows, the smell of incense, the sound of her voice guiding a class in the other room. I was just sitting there, doing nothing. And I felt held. Good, my therapist said. Now close your eyes and bring that memory into your body. Not just the image. The feeling. Where do you feel it? I closed my eyes. And I felt it in my chest. A softness. A warmth. An exhale. That, she said, is your peace frequency. And you can access it anytime. You don't need the yoga studio or your mom or that specific moment. You just need to remember the feeling and let it rise in your body. So I practiced. Every morning, I'd sit for 5 minutes and practice feeling peace. Not thinking about peace. Not visualizing peaceful scenes. But actually feeling it in my body. The softness in my chest. The slow rhythm of my breath. The sense of being held. I'd let it fill me up. And then I'd go about my day. At first, nothing seemed different. But after about 2 weeks, I noticed something. I was making different choices. Without trying. Without forcing. I'd be invited to an event that used to feel obligatory, and I'd just not go, and feel fine about it. I'd be in the middle of a busy workday and notice I needed a break, and I'd actually take one. I'd be scrolling my phone at night and realize, this doesn't feel like peace, and I'd put it down. My external actions were shifting to match my internal frequency. Not because I was white-knuckling better choices, but because I had become someone who values peace. And when you become it, you naturally do what aligns with it. This is the soft reprogram in action. You're not forcing yourself to change. You're shifting your frequency. And your life, your choices, your opportunities, your experiences, shifts to match. Here's how to think about this. Wanting equals I don't have it yet, frequency of lack. I want to feel confident. Translation. I'm not confident now. I'm missing something. Your RAS filters for evidence that you're not confident. You notice every mistake, every awkward moment, every reason to feel insecure. Embodying equals I feel it now, frequency of having. I am confident. This is what confidence feels like in my body. Translation. This is who I am. This is my truth. Your RAS filters for evidence that you're confident. You notice moments of courage, ease, self-trust, even small ones. Do you see the difference? One is reaching outside yourself for something you don't have. The other is recognizing what's already within you. This is why I say, the moment you feel your future now, you've already stepped into it. Not someday. Not when the external circumstances change. But right now. In this moment. When you close your eyes and let yourself feel, truly feel, what it would be like to already be living as your future self. What does she feel? How does she move through the world? What's the quality of her energy? That feeling. That's your frequency. And when you practice that frequency, when you embody it, even for 5 minutes a day, you're training your subconscious. This is who I am. This is what's true for me. Your subconscious doesn't argue. It doesn't say, but you don't have the evidence yet. It just believes what you consistently feel. And once it believes, it guides you toward thoughts, choices, actions, and opportunities that match. I did this when I started my podcast. I had 0 listeners, 0 equipment, 0 experience. But I closed my eyes and asked, what does it feel like to be someone who has a podcast that touches people's lives? And I let myself feel it. Pride, purpose, connection, joy. I didn't wait for those feelings until after I had listeners. I practiced them first. Every day before I recorded, I'd sit for 3 minutes and feel, I am a podcaster. People are listening. I am making a difference. Was it true externally? Not yet. But was it true in my body? Yes. And within 3 months, it became true externally too. Not because I manifested it through wishful thinking, but because I became the frequency of someone who is a podcaster. And from that frequency, the actions felt natural. Recording didn't feel scary. It felt like coming home. Sharing didn't feel vulnerable. It felt like purpose. So here's the practice I want you to start integrating. Feel your future self now. Not as a fantasy. Not as a someday. But as a felt experience in your body. Right now. Because your subconscious doesn't know the difference between a vividly felt emotion and a real experience. When you feel it, you're encoding it. When you repeat it, you're installing it. And when it's installed, your external reality begins to reflect it back. This is the language your subconscious speaks. Not words. Not thoughts. Feeling. Frequency. Embodiment. And in the next chapter, we're going to explore exactly how to use this to work with your brain's natural filtering system, so you start seeing the opportunities that have been here all along. Journal prompt. If I already had what I desire, I would feel One small way I can practice feeling this today is Start here. Start small. Start with the feeling. Because the feeling is where transformation begins. Chapter 7. The brain's filter system, and how to rewire it. Your brain is filtering out 99% of reality right now. Not because it's broken. Not because you're not paying attention. But because it has to. Every single second, your brain is receiving about 2 million bits of information. Sights, sounds, sensations, smells, thoughts, emotions, memories. It's overwhelming. So your brain has a filter. It's called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. And its job is to decide, what's important? What should I pay attention to? What can I ignore? It filters those 2 million bits down to about 126 bits that you consciously notice. That's 0.0000063% of available information. You're living in a tiny sliver of reality. And the question is, which sliver? Here's what most people don't realize. Your RAS shows you what matches your subconscious beliefs. It's like Google for your life. You type in a search query, except you don't type it consciously. Your subconscious beliefs are the search query. And your RAS returns results that match. If your subconscious believes the world is unsafe, your RAS filters for threats. You notice every potential danger, every person who might hurt you, every reason to stay guarded. If your subconscious believes, I'm not enough, your RAS filters for evidence of inadequacy. You notice every mistake you make, every way you fall short, every person who seems more successful than you. If your subconscious believes, opportunities never come to me, your RAS filters out opportunities. Even when they're right in front of you, you literally don't see them. This is why two people can walk through the same situation and have completely different experiences. One person walks into a networking event and sees potential clients, interesting connections, exciting possibilities. Another person walks into the same event and sees, everyone's judging me, I don't belong here, this is a waste of time. Same room. Same people. Different RAS filters. Different realities. Let me tell you about the moment I understood this viscerally. After I started practicing the peace frequency I mentioned in the last chapter, something strange happened. I'd been stressed about money, worried I'd made a mistake leaving my corporate job, wondering if I'd ever make enough as a coach. My RAS was set to not enough money, scarcity, struggle. And that's exactly what I saw. Every unexpected expense felt like proof I was failing. Every month I made less than I hoped felt like evidence I should go back to a real job. But then I shifted my frequency. I started practicing feeling abundant, not because I had more money, but because I decided to embody the feeling first. And here's what happened. Within 2 weeks, I got an email from someone I'd worked with a year prior. Hey, I've been thinking about you, it said. Would you be open to a consulting project? It's a 6-month contract. I almost didn't see the email. It was buried in my inbox. But something made me notice it. And when I read it, I thought, where was this 2 weeks ago when I was spiraling about money? But then I realized, it probably was there. Maybe not that specific email, but opportunities like it. I just wasn't seeing them because my RAS was filtering for scarcity, not abundance. This is how the RAS works. It doesn't create your reality, but it shapes what you perceive. And perception becomes reality. If you don't see the opportunities, you can't take them. If you don't notice the support, you feel alone. If you only see obstacles, you stop trying. So the question becomes, how do you change your RAS filter? How do you train your brain to show you a different reality? The answer is simpler than you think. You change what you're feeling consistently. Because your RAS is programmed by your subconscious beliefs. And your subconscious beliefs are reinforced by your emotional frequency. If you're consistently feeling lack, your subconscious believes, we don't have enough. Your RAS filters for evidence of lack. You see it everywhere. Which reinforces the feeling. Which strengthens the belief. Which tightens the filter. It's a loop. But you can interrupt the loop. Not by thinking differently. By feeling differently. Here's how. Step 1. Identify your current filter. What is your RAS currently showing you? If you want to know, just look at your life. What do you consistently notice? What patterns keep repeating? Examples. People always let me down equals RS is filtering for betrayal, disappointment. I never have enough time equals RAS is filtering for overwhelm, urgency. Nothing ever works out for me equals RAS is filtering for failure, obstacles. I always mess things up equals RAS is filtering for mistakes, inadequacy. Your external experience is showing you what your internal filter is set to. Step 2. Choose a new filter. What do you want your RAS to show you instead? This isn't about denying reality or toxic positivity. It's about choosing which aspect of reality you want to attune to. Because both exist. Evidence of lack exists. Evidence of abundance exists. Evidence of struggle exists. Evidence of support exists. Your RAS can only show you one at a time. So, which do you choose? Examples of new filters. People support me in unexpected ways. I have enough time for what truly matters. Things work out for me, often better than I imagined. I trust myself to figure things out. Step 3. Feel the new filter as if it's already true. This is the key. You can't just think, I choose abundance. You have to feel abundant. In your body. Right now. Close your eyes. Ask, what would it feel like if this new belief were already true? Let the feeling rise. Maybe it's relief. Maybe it's calm. Maybe it's excitement, trust, openness. Breathe into it. Let it fill your chest, your belly, your whole body. Stay here for 2 to 3 minutes. Step 4. Look for evidence. Once you've practiced the feeling, open your eyes and look for tiny pieces of evidence that support the new filter. This is crucial. Your RAS needs evidence to lock in the new program. So start noticing, actively, intentionally, any small moment that aligns with your new filter. Examples. As someone texts you unexpectedly with support, evidence of, people support me. And you finish a task faster than expected, evidence of, I have enough time. As something resolves itself without your intervention, evidence of, things work out for me. Write these down. Acknowledge them. Say, see, this is true. This is who I am now. Step 5. Repeat daily. Your RAS doesn't change overnight. It's been running the old program for years, maybe decades. But with consistent practice, feeling the new frequency and acknowledging evidence, your RAS will begin to shift. Usually within 2 to 4 weeks, you'll notice you're seeing the world differently. Not because the world changed, but because your filter changed. Let me give you a real example of how powerful this is. I worked with a woman, let's call her Sarah. Sarah believed, deeply, I'm always overlooked. At work, she felt invisible. Her ideas were ignored. Her contributions went unnoticed. She'd apply for promotions and get passed over. She was convinced the world just didn't see her. And honestly, based on her experience, it was hard to argue. But when we looked closer, we realized Sarah's RAS was filtering for being overlooked. So even when people did notice her, she didn't register it. Someone would compliment her work, and she'd think, they're just being nice. Someone would ask her opinion, and she'd think, they probably already decided and are just being polite. Her RAS filtered out any evidence that contradicted her core belief. So we started reprogramming. First, we identified the new filter. I am seen. I am valued. My presence matters. Then, we practiced the feeling. Every morning, Sarah would close her eyes for 5 minutes and embody. What would it feel like to be someone who is seen and valued? She described it as a warmth in my chest, like I'm taking up space and that's good. Then, she committed to noticing evidence. Even tiny things. Her coworker made eye contact during a meeting and nodded at her point. Her boss said, "Good catch," about something she flagged. Someone held the door for her and smiled. Small. Easy to dismiss. But Sarah wrote them down. And said, "See? I am seen." Within 3 weeks, something shifted. Sarah went into a meeting and, for the first time, she spoke up without over-explaining herself. She just stated her idea. Clearly. Confidently. And her boss said, "That's exactly what we need. Let's go with Sarah's approach." Sarah left the meeting stunned. Did that just happen? Yes. Because her RAS had shifted. She was no longer filtering for being overlooked. She was filtering for being seen. And once she could see it, she could receive it. This is the power of working with your RAS. You're not creating a new reality from scratch. You're tuning into a frequency that's already here. Think of it like a radio. All the stations exist simultaneously. But you only hear the one you're tuned to. Your subconscious belief is the dial. Your emotional frequency is the signal. Your RAS is the receiver. And what plays through the speakers? That's your experience of life. So here's my invitation. Choose your filter consciously. Look at your life right now. What is your RAS currently showing you? And ask yourself, is this the reality I want to keep experiencing? If not, you have the power to change the dial. Not through positive thinking, but through feeling, through embodiment, through consistently practicing the emotional frequency of the reality you want to live in. And then, this is crucial, noticing the evidence. Because your brain needs proof. And the proof is there. You've just been filtering it out. The key teaching. Your brain shows you what you're programmed to see. Change the program, change what you see. Change what you see, change your reality. It's not magic. It's neuroscience. And it's available to you right now. Journal prompt. The current filter my RAS is set to ________________________________________________________________________________________________________________ The new filter I'm choosing ___________________________________________________________________________________________________________ Start here. Start now. And watch your world begin to shift. Chapter 8. Societal Goals versus Soul-Aligned Desires. 4 years, I chased goals that looked perfect on paper and left me empty inside. Dental school, corporate job, six-figure salary, impressive title. From the outside I was succeeding. From the inside I was dying. And I couldn't understand why. I was doing everything right. I was achieving everything I was supposed to want. So why did it feel so wrong? It wasn't until I crashed, until my body forced me to stop, that I finally asked a different question. Is this mine, or is this what I'm supposed to want? And that question changed everything. Because I realized most of the goals I'd been chasing weren't actually mine. They were inherited from my parents, from society, from the part of me that learned, if I achieve enough, I'll finally be worthy of love. I wasn't chasing my dreams. I was chasing approval. This is one of the biggest blocks I see in manifestation work. People are trying to manifest goals that aren't actually aligned with their soul. And then they wonder why it feels like pushing a boulder uphill. Why the path is so hard. Why they self-sabotage right before success. Why they finally achieve the thing and feel nothing. Here's the truth. Your subconscious will never fully align with a goal that isn't truly yours. It might help you get partway there, but at some point, it will block you, protect you, keep you from investing your life energy into something that doesn't light up your soul. Let me explain the difference between societal goals and soul-aligned desires. Societal goals. These are goals that come from external programming. They sound like, I should want this. Everyone else thinks this is success. My parents would be proud. This looks good on paper. This is what successful people do. They're often tied to achievement, status, external validation. And they usually carry a sense of pressure, obligation, proving. Examples. Climbing the corporate ladder, because that's what success looks like. Getting married by a certain age, because that's the timeline you're supposed to follow. Making a certain amount of money, because that's how you measure worth. Having a certain body type, because that's what's considered attractive. Being busy and productive, because that means you're valuable. These goals aren't inherently bad. Some of them might actually align with your soul. But the question is, are you choosing them? Or are they choosing you? Soul-aligned desires. These are desires that come from your inner knowing. They sound like, this lights me up. I can't imagine not doing this. This feels like coming home. I don't care if it makes sense to anyone else. This is mine. They're often tied to purpose, creativity, authentic expression, deep fulfillment. And they usually carry a sense of rightness, even if they're scary. Examples. Leaving the corporate job to start something creative, even though it's less secure. Choosing to be single and focus on yourself, even though people ask when you'll settle down. Making enough money to live comfortably without sacrificing your life, even though society says more is always better. Honoring your body as it is, even though the world says you should change it. Protecting your time and energy, even though people think you should always be available. These desires feel different. They might not make logical sense. They might disappoint people. They might require you to step outside the script you've been following. But they feel true. Here's how to tell the difference. The resonance test. Think of a goal you're working toward. Now, close your eyes. Place your hand on your heart. And ask your body, does this light me up or weigh me down? Don't think about it. Just feel. Notice what happens in your body. Does your chest expand or contract? Does your breath deepen or shallow? Does your body lean forward, toward, or pull back, away? If it lights you up, your body opens. Your breath flows. You feel energy, excitement, maybe even nervousness. But it's the good kind, the kind that means, this matters to me. This is a soul-aligned desire. If it weighs you down, your body contracts. Your shoulders tighten. You feel heavy, drained, maybe even a little nauseous. This is a societal goal. Something you think you should want, but your soul isn't on board. I did this test with my career. When I thought about continuing in the corporate world, climbing the ladder, getting the next promotion, my body contracted. My chest got tight. I felt exhausted just imagining it. But when I thought about teaching, writing, helping people heal, my chest opened. My breath deepened. I felt alive. Even though it made no logical sense. Even though I'd spent years training for something different. Even though people would think I was crazy for walking away. My body knew. And once I listened to my body, everything started flowing. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying you have to quit your job or abandon everything that looks like traditional success. Soul-aligned desires can live within societal structures. Maybe you love your corporate job, not because it looks good, but because it genuinely fulfills you. Maybe you want marriage and kids, not because you're supposed to, but because that's genuinely your desire. The point isn't to reject everything conventional. The point is to check in with your truth. To make sure the goals you're chasing are actually yours. Because here's what happens when you chase goals that aren't yours. 1. The path feels exhausting. You're constantly forcing, pushing, striving. It never feels easy or natural. Because you're swimming upstream. 2. You self-sabotage. Right when you're about to succeed, something happens. You get sick. You make a mistake. You lose motivation. Your subconscious is protecting you from investing your life in something that's not aligned. 3. You achieve the goal and feel empty. You finally get the promotion, the relationship, the body, the milestone. And you think, that's it? This is what I worked so hard for. Because the goal wasn't feeding your soul. It was feeding your need for external validation. 4. You keep moving the goalpost. Once I get this, I'll be happy. But then you get it, and you're not happy, so you set a new goal. Okay, once I get this, then I'll be happy. And the cycle continues. Because no amount of external achievement can fill an internal void. But when you align with soul-aligned desires. 1. The path feels challenging but right. It's not always easy. Growth never is. But it feels like you're moving with yourself, not against. 2. You're supported in unexpected ways. Opportunities appear. People show up. Things click into place. Not because life is easy, but because you're aligned. 3. You feel fulfilled along the way. The goal is beautiful, yes. But the journey itself feels meaningful. You're not waiting to feel whole once you get there. You feel whole now, becoming. 4. You trust the timing. You're not anxiously chasing. You're patiently embodying. Knowing, If this is mine, it will find me. So here's my invitation. Audit your goals. Look at what you're currently working toward. And ask honestly, is this mine? Or is this what I've been told I should want? If it's the latter, you have permission to let it go. Or adjust it. Or reimagine it. You're not locked into the script you've been following. You're allowed to want something different. Even if it disappoints people. Even if it doesn't make sense. Even if it's quieter, simpler, less impressive than what society says you should chase. And here's what I want you to know. When you align with your soul's desires, manifestation becomes natural. Not because you're forcing the universe to give you what you want, but because you're no longer divided. Your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are finally on the same page. You're whole. And from that wholeness, life flows. Journal prompt. A goal I've been chasing that might not actually be mine. Understand. A desire I've been ignoring that might actually be mine. Understand. Be brave with this one. Be honest. Because the truth is the doorway. Chapter 9. Practice. Feel your why. Ask why 5 times. Now that you understand how your subconscious speaks, how your RAS filters, and the difference between societal goals and soul-aligned desires, we're going to practice bringing your goals from your head into your heart. This practice takes about 10 minutes, and it will show you the emotional core of what you truly want. The frequency you're actually trying to embody. Because here's the secret. You're never really wanting the thing itself. You're wanting the feeling you believe the thing will give you. And once you identify that feeling, you can start practicing it now. Before the external manifestation. And that's when everything shifts. The practice. Feel your why. Ask why 5 times. What you'll need. A journal and pen. A quiet space where you won't be interrupted. 10 minutes. A honesty. Why this practice works. Most goals live on the surface. I want to start a business. I want a relationship. I want to lose weight. I want financial freedom. But these surface goals are just vehicles for deeper emotional needs. And your subconscious doesn't care about the vehicle. It cares about the feeling. So this practice helps you dig beneath the surface goal to find the emotional frequency underneath. And that frequency is what you'll practice embodying. Step 1. Choose one desire. At the top of a blank journal page, write one thing you want. It can be anything. A career goal. A relationship. A feeling state. A creative project. A lifestyle shift. Just pick one for now. Example. I want to start my own business. Write it clearly at the top of the page. Step 2. Ask why, and feel the answer. Now, underneath your goal, write, why do I want this? And then write the first honest answer that comes. Don't overthink it. Don't write what sounds good or spiritual. Write what's true. Example. Why do I want to start my own business? So I can have freedom. Good. Write it down. Step 3. Go deeper. Ask why again. Now take your answer from step 2 and ask why again. Why do I want freedom? Again, write the first honest answer. Example. Because I want to trust myself. Write it down. You're going deeper now. Step 4. Keep going. Ask why 3 more times. Keep asking why, each time using your previous answer as the new question. Why 3? Why do I want to trust myself? Because I want to feel worthy of my own desires. Why 4? Why do I want to feel worthy of my desires? Because I want to know I'm enough as I am. Why 5? Why do I want to know I'm enough as I am? Because I want to come home to myself. Do you see what just happened? We started with, I want to start a business. And we ended with, I want to come home to myself. The business isn't the real desire. Coming home to yourself is. The business is just one path to that feeling. Step 5. Feel it in your body. Now that you've reached your 5th why, your deepest truth, read it out loud. Slowly. I want to come home to myself. Close your eyes. Place your hand on your heart. And ask, what would it feel like if this were already true? If I already felt fully at home in myself? Don't think about it. Feel it. Let the feeling rise in your body. Maybe it's warmth in your chest. Maybe it's softness in your belly. Maybe it's a full body exhale. Stay here. Breathe into this feeling. Let it expand. For 2 to 3 minutes, just be with this emotional frequency. This is your frequency. This is what you're really trying to manifest. Not the business. This feeling. Step 6. Name the core frequency. After you've sat with the feeling, open your eyes and write. The emotional core of what I truly want is understand. One word or a short phrase. Examples. Peace. A worthiness. Safety. A freedom. A belonging. A coming home. Enoughness. A self-trust. Write whatever feels true. This is your frequency. What this practice reveals. Usually by the 5th why, you land on an emotional state, not an achievement. And that emotional state is almost always one of these. A worthiness, I am enough. A safety, I am held. A freedom, I can be myself. A belonging, I am loved. A peace, I am home. These are what psychologists call core emotional needs. And here's the beautiful, powerful truth. You don't need the external thing to feel these emotions. You can practice feeling worthy, safe, free, loved, at peace, right now. Not someday when you achieve the goal. Now. In this moment. And when you practice the feeling first, the external manifestations that match that feeling start appearing. Not because you forced them, but because you became the frequency that attracts them. Key insight. You're not manifesting the business. You're manifesting the feeling of coming home to yourself. The business is just one possible path to that feeling. And when you embody the feeling first, infinite paths open. Do you feel the shift? You're no longer attached to one specific outcome. You're aligned with the frequency. And life can deliver that frequency in ways you never imagined. Maybe through the business. Maybe through something even better. Integration. After completing this practice, ask yourself, how can I practice feeling this today, without waiting for the goal to manifest? Examples. If your core frequency is coming home to myself, take 5 minutes to sit in silence, just being with yourself. Say no to something that doesn't feel aligned. Do one small thing that honors what you truly want. If your core frequency is worthy, celebrate one thing you did today, no matter how small. Speak kindly to yourself when you make a mistake. Allow yourself to rest without earning it. If your core frequency is free, take a different route home just because. Say what you really think instead of what you think you should say. Let yourself be messy, imperfect, human. Do this for every major desire. I recommend doing this Ask Why 5 times practice for each major goal or desire you're working on. You might be surprised. Different surface goals often lead to the same core frequency, which means you're not actually wanting 5 different things. You're wanting one feeling, expressed through different forms. And once you know that, you can focus your energy on embodying that one core frequency, instead of scattering your attention across multiple goals. Journal prompt. After completing this practice, write. The emotional core of what I truly want is I can practice feeling this today by Be specific. Be honest. And then, this is important, actually do it. Practice the feeling, even for 2 minutes. Show your subconscious. This is who I am becoming. Closing encouragement. This practice isn't just an intellectual exercise. It's a reprogramming tool. Every time you identify your core frequency and practice feeling it, you're installing new evidence in your subconscious. This is true. This is who I am. This is available to me. And your subconscious. It believes what you consistently feel. So feel it. Again and again. Until it's no longer something you're trying to manifest. It's simply who you are. Part 2 Closing. Integration. Let's pause here. Breathe. And gather what we've learned. Here's what we've discovered in Part 2. Your subconscious runs 95% of your life. The conscious mind sets goals, but the subconscious determines whether you actually move toward them. And your subconscious doesn't speak logic, it speaks emotion, sensation, and repetition. Emotion is the language that reprograms your subconscious. You can't think your way into a new identity. You have to feel your way there. When you practice feeling like your future self, before the external evidence appears, you're encoding new programs at the subconscious level. Your RAS filters reality based on your emotional frequency. Your brain shows you what matches your internal state. When you shift from wanting frequency of lack to embodying frequency of having, your RAS begins showing you opportunities, support, and evidence that were always there. You just couldn't see them before. Societal goals drain you. Soul-aligned desires energize you. Your subconscious will never fully support a goal that isn't truly yours. The resonance test helps you distinguish between what you think you should want and what your soul actually desires. The Ask Why 5 times practice reveals your core frequency. Beneath every surface goal is an emotional state. When you identify that core frequency and practice feeling it now, you stop chasing outcomes and start embodying the version of you who naturally attracts them. I know this is a lot. And I know it might feel different from traditional goal setting or manifestation teachings. But here's why this approach works. You're not trying to get something outside yourself. You're remembering something within. The worthiness, the peace, the freedom, the love. It's not out there, waiting for you to earn it. It's here, inside you, waiting for you to feel it. And the moment you do, the moment you genuinely embody the frequency of your future self, your external reality begins to shift. Not because you manifested it through force, but because you became it. And what you are, you attract. So here's what I want you to hold. You are not broken. You are not stuck. You are not behind. You're just running an old program. One that says you have to earn your worthiness, that you have to achieve to be loved, that you have to wait until someday to feel whole. And now, we're installing a new program. One that says, I am already whole. I am already enough. I am already the frequency I wish to receive. And when that program runs, everything changes. Before we move into part 3, I want to invite you to 1. Practice the softening pause daily from part 1 to keep your nervous system in receiving mode. 2. Feel your future self for 3 to 5 minutes each morning. Embody the core frequency you identified in Ask Why 5 times. 3. Notice evidence. Throughout your day, actively look for tiny moments that match your new frequency. Write them down. Acknowledge them. These 3 practices, softening, embodying, and noticing, are reprogramming your subconscious in real time. You're not waiting for transformation to happen someday. You're practicing it now. And in part 3, we'll bring it all into form. You've softened your nervous system. You've identified and practiced your core emotional frequency. Now, we'll anchor this new identity through tiny loving actions that tell your subconscious, this is who I am. This is real. This is happening. Not through force. Through gentleness. Through micro-movements so small you can't fail, but powerful enough to rewire your entire life. Let's continue. Affirmation for part 2. I am the frequency I wish to receive. I feel my future now. My subconscious is aligning with my soul's truth. Part 3. Repattern. Becoming the new you in tiny, loving steps. Your subconscious believes what your actions repeat. Chapter 10. Why identity changes through action, not intention. I can tell you the exact day I became a podcaster. It wasn't the day I launched my podcast. It wasn't the day I got my first listener. It wasn't even the day I bought the microphone. It was the day I recorded a 60-second voice note, just for me, and decided, this is what podcasters do. I didn't publish it. I didn't share it with anyone. I just recorded my thoughts for 60 seconds, as if I were already someone who had a podcast. And then I did it again the next day. And the next. By day 30, my subconscious believed me. Not because I'd achieved anything external, but because I'd shown up as that person, consistently, through action. This is the piece that most manifestation teachings miss. They focus on visualization, affirmations, feeling the frequency. And all of that is essential. We've done that work in parts 1 and 2. But there's one more crucial element. Your subconscious believes what your actions repeat. Not what you think. Not even what you feel, though feeling is powerful. But what you do. Consistently. Over time. Let me explain why this matters. Your subconscious mind is designed to keep you alive. And one of the ways it does that is by seeking consistency. It's called cognitive consistency theory. Basically, your brain wants your beliefs, feelings, and actions to match. When they don't match, your brain experiences discomfort, cognitive dissonance, and it will do anything to resolve that discomfort, usually by reverting back to the familiar pattern. Here's what this looks like in real life. You do a beautiful morning practice where you feel abundant, worthy, confident. You genuinely embody that frequency for 10 minutes. But then you go about your day and, as someone offers you an opportunity, and you say, "Oh, I'm not sure I'm qualified." And you want to share your work, but you don't because, who am I to put myself out there? You're about to rest, but you push through instead because, I haven't earned it yet. Your actions don't match your morning frequency. And your subconscious notices. It thinks, okay, so we felt abundant this morning, but we're acting from scarcity. Which one is true? And because your subconscious trusts action over feeling, it decides, scarcity is true. That morning practice was just pretend. And the old program stays intact. This is why so many people feel stuck even after doing all the inner work. They've done the therapy. They've done the visualizations. They've read the books. They know they're worthy. They feel it in meditation. But when it comes to real-life moments, the moment to speak up, to say no, to take up space, to receive, they shrink back into the old pattern. And every time they do, they're reinforcing the old identity. Not because they're failures, but because identity is built through behavioral evidence. Your subconscious learns through repetition. Think about how you learned to ride a bike. You didn't visualize riding a bike and suddenly know how to do it. You got on the bike, wobbly, uncertain, and you tried. You fell. You got back on. You tried again. And after enough repetitions, your body learned. Oh, this is how we balance. This is how we pedal. This is who we are, someone who rides bikes. It became automatic. Identity works the same way. You become who you are through repeated action. Not through intention. Through behavior. Let me tell you about a client I worked with. We'll call her Maya. Maya wanted to become someone who trusts herself. She'd been overriding her intuition for years, saying yes when she meant no, staying in situations that drained her, ignoring her body's signals. She did beautiful inner work. She practiced feeling self-trust. She wrote affirmations. But nothing changed externally. Until we shifted the focus from feeling to action. I asked her, what does someone who trusts herself do? Even in small ways. She thought about it. Someone who trusts herself honors her no. Great, I said. So this week, I want you to say no to one thing. Anything. Even something tiny. And when you do, I want you to say to yourself, this is what self-trust looks like. The next week, Maya came back glowing. I did it, she said. My friend invited me to a party I didn't want to go to. And usually I'd say yes and then dread it all week. But this time, I said no. Just, no. Thank you, but I'm not going to make it. How did it feel? I asked. Terrifying at first. Like I was being rude. But then. She paused. Then I felt proud. Like, oh, this is what it feels like to trust myself. That one action did more for Maya's sense of self-trust than months of affirmations. Because her subconscious finally had evidence. We said no. We honored our truth. This is who we are now. And once her subconscious believed that, saying no became easier. Not because she was forcing it, but because she'd become someone who trusts herself. And people who trust themselves say no when something isn't aligned. It's just what they do. This is what I call the identity action loop. Your identity influences your actions, and your actions reinforce your identity. Most people are stuck in a negative loop. I'm someone who people pleases, so I say yes to everything, which proves I'm a people pleaser, so I keep saying yes. But you can create a positive loop. I'm becoming someone who trusts herself, so I practice saying no to one thing, which proves I can trust myself, so I trust myself more in the next moment. Each action is a vote for the identity you're becoming, and your subconscious is counting the votes. Here's the key teaching I want you to hold. You don't think your way into a new identity. You act your way into it. Even when it feels uncomfortable. Even when it feels like you're faking it. Even when the old identity is whispering, "Who do you think you are?" You show up as the new version anyway. In small ways. In private ways. In ways that no one else even notices. And over time, through repetition, through consistency, your subconscious shifts from, "I'm trying to become her," to, "I am her." This is why I say, transformation doesn't happen in one big leap. It happens in tiny repeated moments where you show yourself, "I'm becoming her." Not someday. Today. In this decision. In this breath. In this small, loving action that says, "This is who I am now." And here's the beautiful part. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You don't need to make huge, dramatic changes. You don't need to quit your job, move across the country, or reinvent yourself overnight. You just need to make one small choice, one micro-movement, that aligns with who you're becoming. And then do it again tomorrow. And the next day. And the next. Until it's no longer something you're trying to do. It's just who you are. Journal prompt. The identity I'm becoming. One small action I can take this week that proves this is true. Write it down. Commit to it. And then, most importantly, do it. Even if it feels small. Even if it feels insignificant. Because your subconscious is watching. And every small action is a vote for the new you. Chapter 11. The Power of Micromovements. Let me tell you about the smallest action that changed my life. I put my phone in another room before bed. That's it. One micromovement. It took me 10 seconds. But it told my subconscious. We're someone who honors rest. We're someone who protects our sleep. We're someone who doesn't need to check the world before we check in with ourselves. And everything else followed. I didn't wake up one day and suddenly become a person who sleeps well. I didn't overhaul my entire evening routine. I didn't force myself to meditate for an hour or follow some complicated wind-down ritual. I just moved my phone to another room. And that one action, repeated every night, became the foundation for a completely different relationship with rest. Within 2 weeks, I was sleeping better. Within a month, I'd stopped checking my phone first thing in the morning. Within 3 months, I'd created an entire morning practice that I genuinely looked forward to. Not because I forced myself. But because I'd become someone who values rest. And that identity shift started with one tiny action. This is the power of what I call micromovements. Micromovements are actions so small you can't fail. So simple your brain doesn't have time to resist. So gentle they bypass all your internal objections and excuses. But when repeated consistently, they rewire your entire identity. Here's why micromovements work. 1. They're too small to trigger resistance. Your brain resists big changes because big changes feel dangerous. If I told myself, starting tomorrow, you're going to wake up at 5 a.m., meditate for an hour, journal for 30 minutes, and completely transform your morning, my brain would have said, absolutely not. That's too much. Too hard. We'll fail. And I would have given up before I started. But, put your phone in another room? That's so small. My brain couldn't argue with it. Okay, fine. We can do that. No resistance. No drama. Just action. 2. They build trust with yourself. Every time you commit to a micromovement and follow through, you're proving to yourself, I can trust me. I say I'm going to do something, and I do it. This might sound small, but it's everything. Most people have broken so many promises to themselves. I'll start tomorrow. I'll do better next week. This time will be different. That they don't trust themselves anymore. And when you don't trust yourself, your subconscious won't believe any new identity you're trying to embody. But micromovements rebuild that trust. One small promise, kept with love, at a time. 3. They create neural pathways. Every time you repeat an action, you're strengthening a neural pathway in your brain. Do it once. The pathway is faint. Do it twice. A little stronger. Do it for 30 days. That pathway becomes a highway. And once it's a highway, the action becomes automatic. You're no longer using willpower. You're just being who you are. 4. They compound over time. This is the part that people underestimate. They think, moving my phone to another room? How is that going to change my life? But micromovements don't work in isolation. They work through compounding. One micromovement leads to another, which leads to another, which, over time, completely shifts your identity. Let me show you how this works. Micromovement. Put phone in another room before bed. Consequence. Sleep better because you're not scrolling until midnight. Consequence. Wake up more rested. Consequence. Have energy to take a short morning walk. Consequence. Morning walk becomes a habit. Consequence. Start noticing your thoughts and feelings more clearly. Consequence. Begin journaling after your walk. Consequence. Journaling reveals patterns you want to shift. Consequence. Make one small shift in your day based on what you discovered. Result. 6 months later, your entire life looks different. All because you moved your phone to another room. Do you see how this works? You're not trying to change everything at once. You're changing one thing. And that one thing creates a ripple effect. Here are examples of micromovements for different identities. For the woman who wants to feel worthy. Micromovement. Put your hand on your heart and say, I'm enough, once a day. That's it. 10 seconds. But that 10 seconds tells your subconscious. We're someone who acknowledges our worth. For the woman who wants to trust herself. Micromovement. Honor one small no this week. Not a big, scary no. Just one moment where you don't override yourself. No, I don't want to go to that event. No, I'm not available for that call. No, I don't want another glass of wine. One no. That's all. For the woman who wants freedom. Micromovement. Take a 5-minute, do-nothing break daily. Set a timer. Sit. Do literally nothing. No phone, no book, no productivity. Just being. For the woman who wants to create. Micromovement. Write one sentence in a journal each morning. Not a page. Not a profound entry. One sentence. This is what I'm noticing today. For the woman who wants to feel connected to her body. Micromovement. Do a 30-second body scan before getting out of bed. How do I feel? What does my body need today? That's it. Notice, none of these require huge amounts of time, energy, or willpower. They're all doable. Even on your worst day. Even when you're exhausted. Even when you don't feel like it. And that's the point. Micromovements are designed to be so easy, you can't fail. Because the goal isn't perfection. The goal is consistency. And consistency builds identity. Let me tell you about a client. We'll call her Rachel. Rachel wanted to become a writer. She had this dream of writing a book someday. But every time she sat down to write, she'd freeze. The blank page felt enormous. The goal felt impossible. So she'd procrastinate. Avoid. Tell herself she wasn't ready yet. We tried the micromovement approach. What's the smallest possible writing action you could take? I asked. She thought about it. I could write one sentence. Perfect. One sentence. Every day. That's your micromovement. She looked skeptical. One sentence won't get me to a book. No, I agreed. But one sentence will get you to being a writer. And writers write books. She tried it. Day 1. One sentence. Day 2. One sentence. By day 5, she was naturally writing more, not because she forced herself, but because the resistance had softened. By day 15, she was writing full paragraphs without even noticing. By day 30, she had the first chapter of her book drafted. But here's what really shifted. By day 7, she stopped calling herself someone who wants to write. She started saying, I'm a writer. Because her subconscious had the evidence. We write every day. Writers write every day. Therefore, we are a writer. The identity had installed. And from that identity, the book became inevitable. This is what I mean when I say, micromovements are breadcrumbs to your future self. Each small action is a breadcrumb. And your future self. She follows them home. Not because you forced her, but because you left a trail that says, this way. You're safe here. This is who we're becoming. So here's my invitation to you. Stop trying to make massive changes. Stop overwhelming yourself with complicated routines and rigid plans. Instead, ask yourself, what's one micromovement I can commit to? Something so small I can't fail. And then do it. Every day. For 30 days. Without judgment. Without needing to see immediate results. Just showing up. Proving to yourself. I'm becoming her. one tiny action at a time. Because here's the truth. You're not trying to overhaul your life overnight. You're leaving breadcrumbs for your future self, small loving actions that say, I'm becoming her. And your subconscious. It follows those breadcrumbs home. One micro-movement at a time. One day at a time. One loving promise, kept. That's how transformation happens. Not through force. Through gentleness. Journal prompt. One micro-movement I can commit to this week. It's so small, I can't fail. And it tells my subconscious. Write it down. Make it specific. Make it tiny. And then honor it. With love. Chapter 12. Self-talk during action, not before. I used to do affirmations in the mirror every morning. I am confident. I am a successful business owner. I trust myself. I'd say them with conviction. With feeling. With all the energy I could muster. And they felt hollow. Like I was trying to convince myself of something I didn't quite believe. It wasn't until I learned this one shift that affirmations finally started working. Self-talk works best during action, not before it. Here's why. When you say an affirmation while you're just standing there, doing nothing, your subconscious notices the disconnect. You're saying, I am confident, while your body is standing still, maybe even a little tense, not actually doing anything that requires confidence. Your subconscious thinks, okay, but where's the evidence? What are we actually doing that proves this is true? And because there's no behavioral evidence, the affirmation doesn't stick. It's just words. But when you say the affirmation while you're taking an action that aligns with it, your subconscious registers, oh, we are doing this. This is who we are. The words and the behavior match. And that congruence is what creates lasting change. This is based on something called embodied cognition. Basically, your brain doesn't separate thoughts from actions. They're encoded together. When you think a thought while doing an action, your brain creates a stronger neural pathway because multiple systems are activated simultaneously. Your motor system, movement. Your cognitive system, thought. Your emotional system, feeling. Your sensory system, body awareness. All of these together create a powerful encoding that tells your subconscious, this is real. This is who we are. Let me give you a concrete example from my own life. When I was first starting my podcast, I was terrified. I'd record an episode, and my hands would shake. My voice would tremble. I'd think, who am I to teach anything? No one's going to listen. This is a waste of time. Old pattern would have been. Stand in the mirror before recording and say, I am a confident podcaster. I have valuable things to share. But my body would be tight with anxiety. My subconscious would reject it. New pattern. While I was recording, hands shaking, voice trembling, I'd say out loud, I am someone who shows up even when I'm nervous. This is what courage looks like. I'm doing it scared, and that makes me brave. Do you see the difference? I wasn't trying to fake confidence I didn't feel. I was acknowledging the fear and affirming the action. Yes, I'm scared. And I'm doing it anyway. This is who I am. And my subconscious believed me. because the words matched the action. I did this for every episode. By episode 10, my hands weren't shaking as much. By episode 20, I actually looked forward to recording. By episode 50, I was confident. Not because I faked it till I made it, but because I'd built real evidence. I show up even when I'm scared. That's who I am. That's what I do. The identity had installed through repeated action plus aligned self-talk. Here's how to use this in your own life. Old way, less effective. Stand in mirror, say affirmation, hope it sticks, do nothing to reinforce it. Example. I am someone who sets boundaries. While doing nothing that requires boundaries. Your subconscious. Okay, but when? Where's the proof? New way, powerful. Take aligned action, speak the truth while doing it, encode it deeply. Example. You're about to say no to something that doesn't serve you. You feel the discomfort rising. And as you say the words, "No, I'm not available for that," you also say to yourself, internally or out loud, "I am someone who honors my boundaries." This is what self-trust looks like. I'm doing it even though it's uncomfortable. Your subconscious. Yes. We're doing it. This is who we are. Here are more examples. Identity. Someone who trusts herself. Action. Making a decision without asking for everyone else's opinion first. Self-talk during action. I trust myself to choose. I don't need external validation. This is what self-trust feels like. Identity. Someone who prioritizes rest. Action. Saying no to an evening event because you're tired. Self-talk during action. I honor my body's needs. Rest is not lazy. This is me valuing myself. Identity. Someone who creates. Action. Writing one sentence, drawing one line, singing one note. Self-talk during action. I am a creator. Creators create. This is what it looks like. I'm doing it. Identity. Someone who is worthy. Action. Receiving a compliment without deflecting. Self-talk during action. I receive this. I'm worthy of praise. I don't need to diminish myself. Identity. Someone who takes up space. Action. Speaking up in a meeting, sharing your idea. Self-talk during action. My voice matters. I belong here. This is me owning my space. Do you see the pattern? You're not waiting to feel confident before you act. You're acting, even while uncomfortable, and narrating the truth. This is who I'm becoming. This is what she does. I'm doing it now. And that narration, paired with the action, creates the identity shift. Here's why this works so powerfully. 1. It acknowledges reality. You're not pretending you're not scared or uncomfortable. You're acknowledging, yes, this is hard. And I'm doing it anyway. That's honest. Your subconscious respects honesty. 2. It creates immediate evidence. You're not saying, someday I'll be this person. You're saying, I am this person right now because look, I'm doing the thing. Immediate proof. 3. It rewires through repetition. Every time you take an aligned action and speak the truth during it, you're strengthening that neural pathway. Action plus self-talk plus repetition equals new identity. 4. It builds self-trust. You're proving to yourself, I do what I say. I show up for myself. I can trust me. And self-trust is the foundation of every identity shift. Now, let's talk about how to actually implement this. Step by step. Action affirmations. Step 1. Identify your micromovement. What's one small action you're committed to? Example: writing one sentence each morning. Step 2. Create your action affirmation. I am someone who understands. Example: I am a writer. Writers write. Step 3. Say it while doing the action. Not before. Not after. During. As you're writing that one sentence, say, out loud or internally, I am a writer. This is what writers do. I'm doing it now. Step 4. Acknowledge the discomfort if it's there. If you feel resistance, fear, doubt, name it and include it. I'm nervous, and I'm writing anyway. This is courage. Step 5. Repeat consistently. Do this every single time you take the action, for at least 21 to 30 days. By day 30, it won't feel like an affirmation anymore. It'll feel like truth. I want to share one more story. A client, we'll call her Sophie, wanted to become someone who speaks her truth. She'd spent her whole life staying quiet, agreeable, afraid to rock the boat. We identified a micromovement. Say one true thing each day, even if it's uncomfortable. And we created her action affirmation. I speak my truth. My voice matters. The first day she told her partner, actually, I don't want to go to that event. Her hands were trembling as she said it. But while she was saying it, she repeated internally, I speak my truth. This is what it feels like. I'm doing it. Her partner said, okay, no problem. And Sophie almost cried. Not because of the response, but because she'd done it. She'd spoken her truth. And the world didn't end. She did this every day for a month. Small truths. I don't agree with that. I need time to think about it. This doesn't feel right for me. And every time she'd say, I speak my truth. This is who I am. By day 30, she came to our session and said, I don't think about it anymore. I just say what's true. It's not scary. It's just who I am now. That's the power of action affirmations. So here's my invitation. Stop saying affirmations into the mirror and hoping they stick. Instead, take one small action and speak the truth while you're doing it. This is who I am. This is what I do. I'm becoming her right now, in this moment. Your subconscious will believe you, because the words and the behavior finally match. Journal prompt. My micromovement. Understand. My action affirmation. To say while doing it. Write it down. Get specific. And then practice. Not in the mirror. Not in your head. But in action. In the real, messy, beautiful moments of becoming. Chapter 13. Building your 3-line action plan. You don't need a complicated strategy. You don't need a 10-step system or a 90-day transformation program. You need 3 simple lines that guide you home to yourself every single day. That's it. 3 lines. And when you follow them with consistency and love, everything changes. I'm going to show you exactly how to build your personal 3-line action plan. This is the framework that ties everything together. The softening from part 1. The frequency work from part 2. The identity building from part 3. All condensed into 3 clear, actionable lines that become your daily roadmap. The framework. The 3-line action plan. Line 1. The feeling, your frequency. This is the emotional core you identified in the Ask Why 5 Times practice from part 2. The feeling underneath everything you want. Examples. Peace. A worthiness. A freedom. Safety. A self-trust. A coming home to yourself. This is your North Star. The frequency you're embodying. Line 2. The direction, your identity statement. This is who you're becoming, stated as if it's already true. Present tense. Clear. Believable, to you. Examples. I am someone who honors her need for rest. I am a writer who trusts her voice. I am someone who sets loving boundaries. I am worthy of receiving good things. I am someone who trusts herself. This is your identity anchor. Line 3. The micromovement, your daily action. This is one tiny action you can do every single day that proves line 2 is true. So small you can't fail. Aligned with your frequency. Doable in 2 to 10 minutes. Examples. A 5-minute, do nothing, break after lunch. A write 3 morning sentences before checking phone. A say one loving no this week. A put hand on heart and say, I'm enough, once daily. A 3-minute body scan before getting out of bed. This is your behavioral evidence. Let's look at complete examples. Example 1. The woman who wants peace. Line 1. Feeling peace, groundedness, coming home to myself. Line 2. Identity. I am someone who honors her need for rest. Line 3. Micromovement. Take a 5-minute, do nothing, break after lunch. No phone, no productivity, just being. Example 2. The woman who wants to create. Line 1. Feeling creative freedom, authentic expression, aliveness. Line 2. Identity. I am a writer who trusts her voice. Line 3. Micromovement. Write 3 sentences every morning before checking email. Example 3. The woman who wants worthiness. Line 1. Feeling worthiness, enoughness, unconditional self-love. Line 2. Identity. I am worthy of love exactly as I am. Line 3. Micromovement. Each night before bed. Name one thing I'm proud of, no matter how small. Example 4. The woman who wants freedom. Line 1. Feeling freedom, sovereignty, trust in myself. Line 2. Identity. I am someone who trusts herself completely. Line 3. Micromovement. Honor one boundary this week without over-explaining. Now, let's build yours. Step by step. Create your 3-line action plan. Get your journal. This is going to take about 10 to 15 minutes. And these 3 lines will become the foundation of your becoming. Step 1. Choose your feeling. Look back at your Ask Why 5 Times practice from Chapter 9. What was your core frequency? What's the emotional state underneath everything you want? Right. The feeling I'm embodying. Understand. If you haven't done the Ask Why 5 Times practice yet, do it now. Or simply ask yourself, if I had everything I desire, what would I feel? Usually it's one of these: a worthy, safe, a free, at peace, a trusting of self or life, a loved, a whole/complete, a alive. Choose one. Write it down. Step 2. Craft your identity statement. Now ask, who is the version of me who feels this way? What does someone who embodies this frequency believe about herself? Write in present tense, as if it's already true. I am someone who understands, or I am understands. Examples. If your feeling is peace, I am someone who prioritizes rest and presence. If your feeling is worthiness, I am worthy exactly as I am. If your feeling is freedom, I am someone who trusts herself completely. If your feeling is safety, I am held and supported by life. If your feeling is creative expression, I am a creator. I trust my voice. Write it. Say it out loud. Does it feel true? Or at least believable? If it feels too big or fake, make it smaller. Instead of, I am completely confident, I am learning to trust myself. Instead of, I am fearless, I am brave enough to try. The identity statement should feel like a stretch, but not a lie. Step 3. Choose your micromovement. Now ask, what's one tiny action I can do every day that proves this identity is true? What would someone who embodies this frequency do? Make it a specific, not rest more, but take 5-minute break after lunch. A tiny, something you can do even on your worst day. A daily or weekly consistent enough to build evidence. Are aligned, connected to your feeling and identity. Write. My micromovement. Understand. Examples. 4. I am someone who prioritizes rest. 5-minute body scan each morning. 4. I am a writer. Write 1 sentence before coffee. 4. I am worthy. Hand on heart. Say, I'm enough once daily. 4. I am someone who trusts herself. Honor 1 small no this week. 4. I am a creator. Spend 5 minutes creating anything, daily. Pick 1. Not 5. Not, and I'll also do this and this and this. 1. The one you can commit to for 30 days without fail. Step 4. Write all 3 lines together. Now, write your complete 3-line action plan. My 3-line action plan. Feeling. Understand. Identity. Understand. Micromovement. Understand. Example. Feeling. Peace. Groundedness. Identity. I am someone who honors my need for rest. Micromovement. 5-minute. Do nothing. Break after lunch. That's it. 3 lines. Your complete roadmap for the next 30 days. How to use your 3-line action plan. Morning. Read your 3 lines out loud. Feel them in your body. Remind yourself, this is who I'm becoming. This is what I'm practicing today. Throughout the day, do your micromovement. While you're doing it, speak your identity statement. I am someone who honors rest. This is what that looks like. Evening. Check in. Did you do your micromovement? If yes, celebrate. Acknowledge yourself. I kept my promise. I'm building trust with myself. If no, no shame. No guilt. Just recommit. Tomorrow, I'll show up again. Track it. Get a calendar or journal. Put an X for each day you complete your micromovement. Watch the chain grow. Your subconscious loves visual evidence. Why this works. 1. It's simple. You're not trying to remember 10 different practices. Just 3 lines. 1 action. 2. It's aligned. Everything is connected. Your feeling, your identity, your action. They reinforce each other. 3. It's doable. You're not overwhelmed. You're not setting yourself up to fail. You're choosing something so small, you can actually keep your promise. 4. It compounds. Day 1, you're proving to yourself, I can do this. Day 7, you're starting to believe, this is who I am. Day 30, you've become her. Not through force. Through gentle, consistent, loving action. My personal example. I want to share my 3-line action plan from when I was healing from burnout. Feeling. Safety. Coming home to myself. Identity. I am someone who listens to my body. Micromovement. 3-minute morning body scan before getting out of bed. I did this every single day for 90 days. And it changed my entire life. Not because I did some elaborate transformation program, but because I showed up for 3 minutes every morning and proved to myself, I'm someone who listens. I'm someone who cares for herself. I'm someone who values presence over productivity. And once that identity installed, everything else shifted to match. Common questions. What if I miss a day? You're human. You'll miss days. That's okay. 1 missed day doesn't erase 29 days of evidence. Just start again the next day. No shame. No guilt. Just love. Can I have more than one 3-line action plan? You can. But I recommend starting with 1. Master it. Let it become automatic. Then, if you want, add another. Depth over breadth. How long do I do this? Minimum 30 days. Ideally 90 days. But honestly, this becomes a way of life. You'll find yourself naturally creating new 3-line plans as you grow. What if my micromovement feels too easy? Perfect. That means you'll actually do it. Remember, you're not trying to prove how hard you can work. You're building identity through consistency. Easy plus consistent equals transformation. How do I know if it's working? You'll feel different before you see different. Around day 7 to 14, you'll notice. The action feels more natural. You think about your identity statement without trying. Small shifts in other areas of your life. By day 30, you'll look back and realize, I'm not the same person I was a month ago. Your commitment. Before you move on, I want you to make a commitment. Not to me. To yourself. Write in your journal. I commit to my 3-line action plan for the next 30 days. I commit to showing up for myself, gently, lovingly, consistently. Even when it's hard. Even when I don't feel like it. Because I'm becoming her. And she's worth showing up for. Sign it. Date it. And then begin. Journal prompt. My 3-line action plan is feeling. Identity. Micromovement. I'm starting on date, and I commit to 30 days. Write it. Post it somewhere visible. And let the soft reprogram begin. Chapter 14. Practice. The 10-minute identity anchor. We've softened your nervous system. We've identified your core frequency. We've created your 3-line action plan. Now, we're going to tie it all together in one daily practice. I call it the 10-minute identity anchor. And if you do this practice every day for 30 days, you will become someone new. Not through force, through love. This practice combines a nervous system regulation, from part 1, a frequency embodiment, from part 2, our identity reinforcement, from part 3, all in 10 minutes. It's the most powerful daily practice I can offer you, because it speaks to all 3 layers of transformation: body, subconscious, action. The 10-minute identity anchor. When to do it. A morning, before the day takes you. A evening, to anchor the day's evidence. Or both, if you want to accelerate the shift. What you'll need. Your 3-line action plan. A quiet space. 10 minutes. That's it. Minute 1 to 3. Soften, relax. This is where we regulate your nervous system and create space for the new identity to land. Arrive in your body. A sit or stand comfortably. A close your eyes or soften your gaze. A place one hand on your heart, one on your belly. A take 3 deep breaths, in through nose, 4 counts, out through mouth, 6 counts. As you breathe, say internally, I am here. I am present. I am safe. Body scan. Starting at the crown of your head, slowly scan down. Notice where you're holding tension. You don't need to fix it, just acknowledge it. Breathe into those spaces. Whisper internally, I see you. I'm listening. Ground. Feel your feet on the floor, or your body in the chair. Notice, I am held by the earth. I am supported. Let your shoulders drop. Soften your jaw. Release your belly. Allow yourself to just be. You're not trying to achieve anything. You're just coming home to yourself. Minute 4 to 7. Embody, reprogram. This is where we install the new frequency and identity at the subconscious level. Read your identity statement. Open your eyes briefly. Look at line 2 of your 3-line action plan. Read it slowly, out loud if possible. I am someone who understands. Say it 3 times. Let it land in your body. Feel the frequency. Close your eyes again. Ask, what does it feel like to be this person? Don't think about it. Feel it. Let the feeling rise in your body. Where do you feel it? Heart, belly, whole body. Breathe into that feeling. Let it expand with each breath. Stay here for 2 to 3 minutes. Just feeling. Just being. This is the frequency of your future self. You're embodying it now. Anchor it. Place both hands on your heart. Say internally or out loud, this is who I am becoming. This is already true. I am your core feeling from line 1. Take one deep breath and exhale fully. Minute 8 to 10. Act, repattern. This is where we create behavioral evidence that your subconscious can believe. Do your micro-movement, if possible in this moment. A look at line 3 of your 3-line action plan. If your micro-movement can be done right now, do it. While doing it, repeat your identity statement. Example. If your micro-movement is write 3 sentences, write them now while saying, I am a writer. Writers write. I'm doing it now. If your micro-movement is take 5-minute break, take it now while saying, I honor my need for rest. This is what self-care looks like. If you can't do the micro-movement right now, visualize yourself doing it later today. Feel the commitment in your body. Say, I will honor this today because I am your identity. This is a promise I'm keeping with myself. Close with gratitude. A hand on heart. Say, thank you for showing up. Thank you for becoming. I trust this process. 3 deep breaths. Slowly open your eyes. That's it. 10 minutes. Every day. For 30 days. What to notice. Week 1. It might feel mechanical. You're learning the practice. It might feel awkward or forced. That's okay. Keep going. Your nervous system is learning, oh, we do this now. Week 2. The feeling deepens. The frequency starts to feel more real. Your body begins to believe, this is who we are. You might notice small external shifts, opportunities, synchronicities, ease. Week 3. Identity starts to shift. You catch yourself thinking or acting differently without trying. The old pattern doesn't feel as automatic. The new identity is installing. Week 4. You feel different. Not just in the practice, but in life. You're making different choices. Things feel lighter. You're not forcing, you're flowing. By day 30, you've done this practice 30 times. You've shown up for yourself 30 times. You've embodied your future self for 300 minutes total. And your subconscious has received the message loud and clear. This is who we are now. Tracking your practice. I highly recommend tracking this practice. Not to be rigid or perfectionistic, but to give your subconscious visual evidence. Get a calendar or journal. Each day you complete the 10-minute identity anchor, mark it. Put an X. Draw a heart. A color in the day. Watch the chain grow. Your brain loves this. It sees, oh, we're consistent. This must be important. This must be who we are. And it adjusts accordingly. Also, journal briefly after the practice. Today I noticed. Examples. I felt genuine peace during the embodiment part. I actually wanted to do my micro-movement today. Didn't feel like forcing. My body feels different, softer, more open. Someone offered me an opportunity that aligns perfectly with my new identity. Write what you notice. Evidence compounds. Modifications. If you have less time, do just minutes 1 to 3, soften, plus your micro-movement. Even 5 minutes of this practice is better than skipping it entirely. If you want to go deeper, Extend minutes 4 to 7, embody, to 10 to 15 minutes. Really marinate in the frequency. Let it saturate every cell. If you miss a day, no guilt. No, I ruined everything. Just love. Say, I'm human. Tomorrow, I show up again. And you do. One missed day doesn't erase 29 days of evidence. If you're feeling resistance, notice it. There's resistance here. Ask, what am I afraid of? Usually it's, what if I become her and still don't get what I want? Acknowledge the fear. Do the practice anyway. Gently. With compassion. Why this practice is so powerful. 1. It regulates your nervous system first. You can't embody a new frequency from a stressed state. So we soften first, creating the space for the new to land. 2. It installs the new program emotionally. Your subconscious learns through feeling. By spending 3 to 4 minutes genuinely feeling your future self, you're encoding it deeply. 3. It creates immediate behavioral evidence. You're not just visualizing. You're acting. Proving to your subconscious, this is real. We're doing it now. 4. It's consistent. Neuroplasticity requires repetition. 1 time doesn't change the brain. 30 times? That rewires everything. 5. It's gentle. This isn't about forcing yourself to change. It's about softening into who you already are beneath the old programming. My promise to you. If you do this practice, truly do it, with presence and love, for 30 days. You will not be the same person you are today. Not because you achieved something external, but because you became someone internal. Your nervous system will be calmer. Your subconscious will believe the new identity. Your actions will naturally align with who you're becoming. And your life. It will shift to reflect the new you. Not through force. Through frequency. So here's my invitation. Start tomorrow morning. Set your alarm 10 minutes earlier if you need to. Find a quiet space. Open this book to your 3-line action plan. And do the 10-minute identity anchor. Just once. See how it feels. And then show up again the next day. And the next. For 30 days. That's it. 30 days. 10 minutes a day. 300 minutes total. To become someone new. Will you do it? Journal prompt. I commit to the 10-minute identity anchor for 30 days, starting __________________ date. After 7 days, I imagine I'll notice. After 30 days, I imagine I'll feel. Write it. Commit it. And then begin. Chapter 15. Honoring the becoming. Closing. Becoming isn't linear. It's not a ladder you climb rung by rung until you reach the top and declare, I made it. It's a spiral. A dance. Some days you remember all the steps. Some days you forget completely and find yourself back in the old pattern, wondering if anything has changed at all. And I need you to know. That's not failure. That's the process. I want to talk to you about the days when this feels hard. Because they're coming. There will be days when you wake up and the 10-minute identity anchor feels impossible. Days when your micro-movement feels pointless. Days when you look at your 3-line action plan and think, who am I kidding? Nothing's changing. And on those days, I need you to hear this. You're not doing it wrong. You're just being human. Transformation isn't a straight line up. It's more like this. You take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 1 giant leap forward. Then you trip and fall flat on your face. And then, if you're gentle with yourself, you get up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Not because you have to be perfect, but because you're committed to the becoming. Let me tell you about a moment that happened to me about 6 months into my healing. I thought I was doing so well. I had my practices. I was embodying my frequency. I was showing up consistently. And then one day, completely out of nowhere, I woke up in full panic mode. Heart racing. Breath shallow. Old stories flooding back. You're not doing enough. You're falling behind. You're going to fail. You're going to lose everything. I felt like I'd regressed completely. Like all the work I'd done had disappeared. And I thought, what's the point? I'm never going to change. But then, and this is the part one want you to remember, I did something different than I would have done a year before. Instead of spiraling. Instead of berating myself for failing. Instead of giving up. I softened. I put my hand on my heart and I said, I see you. You're scared. That's okay. You're allowed to be scared. But we're not the same person we were a year ago. Even in this moment of fear, we're different. And I was right. Because a year before, that panic would have lasted for days. I would have believed every scary thought. I would have made decisions from that place. But this time, I did the softening pause. I reminded myself of my identity. I am someone who listens to my body. I am someone who honors my need for care. And I took the day off. I rested. I didn't force myself to be productive or positive or better. I just let myself be human. And by the next day, the panic had passed. Not because I did everything perfectly, but because I didn't abandon myself. This is what honoring the becoming looks like. It's not about never having hard days. It's about meeting yourself with compassion on the hard days. It's not about never falling back into old patterns. It's about noticing when you do, and choosing differently, gently, the next time. Here's what I want you to remember. 1. Progress isn't always visible. Just because you can't see the change doesn't mean it's not happening. Your subconscious is rewiring beneath the surface. Your nervous system is learning new patterns. Your identity is shifting in ways you won't recognize until one day, you look back and realize, I'm not who I was. Trust the 10 minutes. Trust the micro movements. Even when you can't see the evidence yet. It's happening. 2. Some days will feel hard. And that's okay. You're not supposed to feel peaceful, aligned, and embodied every single moment. You're human. Some days, the old pattern will feel stronger. Some days, your micro-movement will feel like climbing a mountain. Some days, you'll wonder if any of this is working. On those days, do it anyway. But do it gently. With love. With the understanding that showing up when it's hard is actually the most powerful practice of all. Because those are the days that build the deepest trust with yourself. 3. You're allowed to rest. Becoming isn't about hustling. It's about softening. If you need to pause this practice for a day, a week, even a month, pause with love, not guilt. Say, I'm honoring what I need right now. I can come back when I'm ready. Your future self isn't going anywhere. She's not judging you for resting. She's waiting, patiently, lovingly, for you to return. 4. Celebrate the tiny wins. Don't wait for the big transformation to honor yourself. Celebrate now. You showed up today. Celebrate. You did your micro movement even though you didn't feel like it. Celebrate. You noticed an old pattern and chose differently, even just once. Celebrate. Every small step is a quantum leap. Every moment you choose love over force is a victory. Write them down. Acknowledge them. Let them be evidence for your subconscious. See, I'm becoming her. It's real. It's happening. 5. You're not doing this alone. I know it might feel like you are. But you're not. Every woman who's ever softened into her becoming has walked this same spiral. Feeling confident one day, uncertain the next. Taking steps forward, then stumbling back. Trusting, doubting, trusting again. You're part of something bigger. A lineage of women who decided, I'm worth showing up for. I'm worth the gentleness. I'm worth the becoming. You're held. You're seen. You're not alone. And I want to say something personal. I'm still becoming too. Some days, I embody everything I teach in this book. I soften easily. I feel my frequency. I move through the world as my future self. Other days, I forget everything. I get stressed, I override my body, I fall back into proving mode. And then I remember. Oh, right. I have practices for this. And I come back. Not perfectly, but with love. This is the dance. And I'm dancing it with you. A final invitation. So here's my invitation, beautiful soul. Take the next 30 days. Do the 10-minute identity anchor. Honor your 3-line action plan. Soften when it's hard. Trust when you can't see. Celebrate the tiny wins. And on the days when you forget, when you stumble, when you wonder if you're doing it right, come back to this. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're exactly where you need to be. And your future self. She's already proud of you. Not for being perfect, but for showing up. For trying. For softening. For being brave enough to become. Let's begin. Not someday. Today. Right here. Right now. In this breath. In this moment. In this choice to love yourself enough to become. You are worthy of this. You are ready for this. You are already becoming. I see you. And I'm so glad you're here. Part 3 Closing. Integration. Let's come together one more time. To honor what you've learned. To gather the wisdom. To prepare for the becoming. Here's what we've discovered in Part 3. Identity changes through action, not intention. Your subconscious believes what your actions repeat. You can think and feel and visualize all you want, but until you take aligned action, even tiny action, the new identity doesn't fully install. Behavioral evidence is what your subconscious trusts most. Micro-movements are more powerful than massive changes. Small actions, repeated consistently, rewire your entire identity. They're too small to trigger resistance, easy enough to stay consistent, and powerful enough to compound into transformation. You're not overhauling your life. You're leaving breadcrumbs for your future self to follow home. Self-talk works best during action. When you speak your identity statement while taking aligned action, your subconscious registers congruence. The words match the behavior. This must be true. This is how affirmations finally stick, not through repetition in the mirror, but through repetition in real life. Your 3-line action plan is your daily roadmap. Feeling plus identity plus micromovement. These 3 lines tie everything together. They give your subconscious a clear direction. This is the frequency I'm embodying. This is who I'm becoming. This is what I do daily to prove it. The 10-minute identity anchor anchors it all. Soften, embody, act. This daily practice speaks to all 3 layers: nervous system, subconscious, and behavior. Do it for 30 days, and you will become someone new. Not through force. Through gentle, consistent, loving repetition. Honoring the becoming means being human. You'll have hard days. You'll fall back into old patterns. You'll doubt if it's working. And that's okay. You're not failing, you're learning. Transformation isn't linear. It's a spiral. And every time you choose love over force, you're becoming. The complete Soft Reprogram. Now you have all 3 parts. Part 1. Relax, soften your nervous system, return to your body, create space for the new. Part 2. Reprogram, identify your core frequency, feel your future self, speak the language of your subconscious. Part 3. Repattern, take aligned action, build micromovements, embody the new identity daily. Together, these 3 parts create a complete transformation system. Not through hustle. Through softness. Not through force. Through frequency. Not through perfection. Through love. Your daily practice. Simplified. If you take nothing else from this book, take this. Morning. 1. The 10-minute identity anchor, or at minimum, 3 minutes of softening plus feeling your frequency. Throughout the day. 2. Do your micro-movement while speaking your identity statement. Evening. 3. Notice one piece of evidence that you're becoming her. Write it down. That's it. 20 minutes total. Every day. For 30 days. Your life will change. Affirmation for Part 3. I am softening. I am reprogramming. I am becoming. And I'm doing it with love. Say it now. Put your hand on your heart. Feel it. This is your truth. What happens next? You close this book. And you have a choice. You can go back to life as usual. Back to the old patterns, the old programming, the old identity. Or you can begin. Right now. Today. Not perfectly. But gently. With the understanding that becoming isn't about arriving. It's about showing up. Again and again. For yourself. Because you're worth it. And if you begin, if you commit to 30 days of this practice, here's what I believe will happen. Your nervous system will feel safer. Your subconscious will start to believe the new identity. Your actions will naturally align with who you're becoming. Your external reality will begin to shift, not through force, but through frequency. And one day, maybe 3 weeks in, maybe 3 months in, you'll wake up and realize, I'm different. I'm not who I was. I'm becoming her. And that realization, that's when you'll know the soft reprogram worked. Not because you hustled, but because you softened. Not because you forced, but because you felt. Not because you were perfect, but because you were present. So here's my final invitation. Begin. Not someday. Now. Open your journal. Write your 3-line action plan. Set your alarm for 10 minutes earlier tomorrow. And show up. For you. For the version of you who's been waiting. For the becoming. I'm so proud of you for being here. For reading this book. For being open to a different way. For choosing softness in a world that tells you to hustle harder. You are exactly where you need to be. And your future self. She's already here. Waiting for you to soften into her. Let's go home. Together. With all my love. Lila.